Well, well, well. Hello there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing? Just kill the music real quick. Welcome back to Ninja Pulls on this fine Thursday afternoon. For some of you, morning for me. I just realized I don't have water. I'll have to go and get that in a second. Anyway, let's crack on. Gotta get that headset on. Kinda sucks. My hair's looking good for a change. Now I'm gonna have a huge dent in my hair because of wearing this headset all day. Ah, the trials and tribulations, guys. Anyway, welcome back. This one welcomes you back. Let's see what we've got here in the mix with us today. I had it first. Apart from Surreybot, yeah. Fiery Dog. Is it still Wednesday? Yeah, what the hell? The title of the stream isn't updated. Why? Okay. It's updated on YouTube, but not on Twitch. Alright, well, thank you for that. How bizarre. Well, let me fix that right away. In the meantime, new Namtab, how's it going? For glory, indeed, yeah. Lose or Trone, how's it going? LeBro, always Wednesday, my dudes. That's genuinely bizarre. I don't know how that happens. Because I always put in the stream title for YouTube. I copy it from the Twitch one. So I don't know how it could have updated on YouTube without first updating Twitch. Like, that makes no sense. Anyway, none of you guys care about that. You don't need to hear about this. Let me grab that title there. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out. That's actually very helpful. Anyway, stream title updated. So enough about that. Hit that refresh button and it will go away. Don't even need to do that. Is Blurpy screwed again? What's going on? Wasn't hearing anything. Anyway. We're in. Oh, I hope you guys are having a lovely, lovely week. Thank you, Imperiex, for the hug to chat. And hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome back. Like I said, I hope you're having a good week. It's going alright here. It is getting very cold.
Good work, everyone. The worm cult has fled the city. Comrade?
I mean, late November. No surprises there. My mouse keeps messing up on me, but apart from that, we're good. Why does it keep doing that? When I'm charging it, when it's plugged in to charge, the computer will just randomly decide, ah, you got no mouse anymore. What? Yeah, it's an earlier quest I'm going back through for a video. Spoiler alert. We did this really cool video. It was a lot of fun to do. It was a huge amount of work earlier this year when I think because remember they announced, hey Eggbirds, how you doing, my man? Everybody give it up for Eggbirds. Give them a warm, warm welcome. Lots of emotes, please, for this finest of gentlemen. How you doing? Hope you're having a good Thursday so far. What was I saying? Yeah, so remember they did a late reveal this year. It was like April. We normally get stuff in January. And we didn't really find out anything much about the seasons of the Worm Cult until April. And if you guys remember, I did a Manimarco video in February, March, so in the run-up to this, saying, hey, this is probably what we're getting in in you know, the upcoming seasons of the. Well, we didn't know what it was called back then, so I freaking called it. I basically said it's going to be Manamako. The worm cult is back. Yada yada yada. And yeah, and I went over this book from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion called Manamako, King of Worms, which describes in verse and in very vague but sort of flowery terms, you know, this epic confrontation between the Mages Guild and the Worm Cult. The Stirk Fellowship is not mentioned, obviously. Different story. But yeah, that sort of face-off between Varnus and Manamako was a big one. Thank you for all the tributes there to Eggbirds. Look at that. Amazing. Imperiex, Lebro, Erin, Lou. Eggbird's doing alright staying home because I'm still feeling a little ill. Ugh. AKA playing Enshrouded. I was actually playing Enshrouded and listening to Reign of Kindo for about an hour last night. And hey, Schnacks! Schnacks! Thank you, man. Thank you so much for that sub. What an absolute legend. You've been a supporter for such a long time. We massively appreciate it. And I hope you're having a terrific week and that you've enjoyed the wall event at least as much as I have. We're going to be talking a little bit about that today. We've got a little over a day left. Or is it actually 2 days? I could be wrong, actually. Let me check. Because they said 1 week, but actually it ended up being, yeah, it's like 8 days. So, alright, it's not correct. 2 days left. Need to update the stream information again. Let's do that real quick. It's a real professional operation we're running here. Not scuffed at all. Not at all, my friends. 2 days left. Should have checked that before I started. To be fair, they did say repeatedly, it's a week, it's a week, it's a week long. No, apparently it's 8 days. And in any case, it's coming back in the early part of next year. But yeah, we'll get to that. So yeah, Eggbirds, for a little while I was actually doing things that you would thoroughly approve of. But it didn't last. I had to get started on another video. Speaking of getting started, why don't we go and do some writs while we warm things up. But yeah, 2 days left on this event. Still time to have your way with it. Extract some fun, such as it is, out of what Zos have done for us, but I think it's uncontroversial to say it hasn't gone great. Parts of it have, but they've been very overshadowed by, you know, bugs and niggling issues and various other things. Erin, I'm snitching. It's Eggbirds and Erin. It is indeed. Schnax, how you doing? Yeah, hello, hello. 21 months. Wow, 2 years approaching, right? That is crazy to me. I mean, the timeline is thrown off for me because I've only been streaming. It's not even been a year that I've been doing this. When did I start? Like April, May, something like that? It's been a while. It'll be a year before long. Man, the time is just flowing past me like on fast forward. It is terrifying. I've got so much to do and I'm really enjoying almost all of it, but things are beginning to compete with one another in a way that makes it harder for me to A, do them properly, and B, like, enjoy any of it. It's crazy. So yeah, we'll have to figure out exactly how to slice it and dice it in terms of our time going forward. Also, if we can get Maya back to Ninja Pulls full time, I think that would solve a lot of problems, and we would really be able to give all of our attention to everything. Well, there we go. And alright, is today the day we'll play with the streamer, or stream plays with viewers, as some calls it? I mean, feel free. I'm here whenever. I'm online. You're welcome to accompany on my survey missions. Don't know why anyone in their right mind would want to do that, but, you know. So whether or not today is the day is entirely in your hands, my friends. Erin, look at that 7-stream streak. Damn. Do stuff. Get the thing. And yet Maya told me yesterday I was very proud. was literally climbing up, like jumping up a mountain like this, as you do. You know, just spam jump to get all the way to the top. If it's not too steep, you can't like go up a cliff doing that. But that classic RPG mountain climbing technique of just spam jump. I was literally listening to while we make our ascent, and put a smile on my face. I know what Ahelt wants to do. Keep it to yourself. How you doing, Belorda? Welcome, welcome. Aaron, I love that combo. What the hell? That's really good. Like the Letterman jacket.
Hello there.
And the skull in the middle. Hello, likes to play catch. How are you doing, sir? Hope you're doing alright. How's that knee brace? That sounded like it was going to be a useful little gizmo. Alright, well, Rit's done on this guy. So we can put her back in Solstice. Yeah, nothing much on the agenda for today, Ahelt, in case that is what you were hinting at. I'm open to doing whatever. Really, I want to keep talking about the events and, you know, what the takeaways are, what we want Zos's takeaways to be, and the best way that we can communicate our perspective to them and whatnot. Like I said, Maya's going to put out a survey in the Discord, and we're going to try and keep it, like, with no disrespect to Zos. The survey that they did for class balance changes or whatever it was met with a raised eyebrow by a lot of people. Like, what? Why is it so long and why is it so non-specific? They could have done better, but I'm guessing it was someone who already had, you know, 40 hours of work in that week was suddenly told, hey, make this survey for us. So it was like, okay, well, I'll throw something together in the limited amount of time that I have. So we're going to try to avoid that and make it a little bit more on point. Short, concise, clear. And in any case, I think Zos already knew with this class survey, I think they knew what was up. They'd already decided on a course of action and probably just wanted to make absolutely sure that the players didn't disagree. You know? I don't know, that's... Nobody has told me that. I've got no privileged information on that point, but I don't know, that was how the situation read to me. That it wasn't genuine fact-finding, it was just... Well, we're pretty sure we've got things in motion. We just want to make absolutely certain that the players don't say zig when we're about to zag. Have you tuned your world back to the default in Enshrouded? I don't know. Not everything, but yeah, I've changed some stuff. But the game is very easy now because I got access to level 42 stuff when I was level 15. So it kind of sucks. I've ruined it for myself. Everything I pick up is shit, because what I've got is so much better. So I just trash every single weapon that I pick up. There's none of that fun of getting, oh, I got a slightly better sword, or a slightly better bow, or, ooh, maybe I'll try this hammer. No, they all suck compared to the weapon that I have. So, yeah. It's a slight issue. But I've also been, I think I've just been breaking the game too much, Eggbirds. I've been going... to places where you're not supposed to get to, just by dint of, you know, there's like Red Shroud or some really nasty enemies blocking your way. I've just been finding ways to get around them. And stuff like that. So I've discovered almost every point, you know, every spire on the map without having actually, I think it's like level 26 or something, my character. Which I think is still pretty good, given the extremely limited amount of time I've actually had to play it. But, yeah, what a fun game. I really hope they find a way to give it a little more purpose before the final release. I doubt that that's on the cards, but this is Enshrouded we're talking about, by the way, guys. So this is going to be an ESO stream, but since Eggbirds is here, and we love that game, we gave away a bunch of codes of Enshrouded just last week. Can you believe that was just over a week ago? Wow. Yeah. Schnax, to be honest, I like the event more in theory than in practice. Schnack's always bringing it with the great turns of phrase. That's a very, very neat, like, capsule summary of my attitude as well, actually. In theory, I fucking love it. In practice, not just to do with the execution of it, but also to do with some of the conception. Like, I think having it as this really long, month-long thing, they gave themselves extra work. Maybe they should just have had 2 weeks of Phase 3. You know? Just to get them started. They may have been too ambitious with hindsight, but yeah. So, sorry, Schnacks. I like the event more in theory than in practice, but I take it as a first attempt at something they can build on. And a first attempt at something very cool. Like, even if we don't think there was much in the event that we like personally, I do. I think there was a lot in there for me. It was more the execution and the sort of the nature of it, the specifics where maybe it didn't deliver on the expectations that I had, and I think my expectations were more realistic than many others. As I said, sort of build it as this big thing, and it was very clear from the reactions of you guys to the videos that we posted, and all the chat in the first few days of the event, and in Phase 2 as well, that, oh really? It's repeatable daily fetch quests? That's all. Wow. And some code under the bonnet that doesn't really, like, make itself felt. Yeah, so interesting. Egberts, we should do an organised Hollow Hall run. I'm down. I mean, good luck organising. That's the thing. Next time we have a prog group cancelled, I will, I'll see if you're around. Because those are basically, that's our only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. That's our only hope to do anything like this, is that something else gets cancelled and bumped out of the weekly roster. Ah, like Sublicat, you're about to go and try it on. Awesome. Alright, well. As someone who's had knee issues in the past, I did a lot of hiking when I was a teenager. There's a thing in the UK, which we don't have anything like this in Denmark. I guess they just don't have the geography for it, for a start. But there is a thing called the 10 Tours Challenge, which is in southern England, a place called Devon, where you literally hike between, there are these crazy, they're not quite mountains, but they're very, very big hills in this really unique moorland. Totally a place that you could shoot a fantasy film, you know? Like New Zealand-worthy landscape, almost. And yeah, there are dozens and dozens of these things. They're called tours. And you have to hike between 10 of them, and the route is chosen at random. And yeah, you go with, like, I think groups of 5 or 6 teens do it. And we were doing this, and on the first expedition, I took way too much in my pack. Way too much. Because I'm quite, you know, I grew up playing a lot of sport, a lot of rugby in particular. I'm quite a robust gentleman, shall we say, or used to be. But I overdid it, and especially going down a very steep hill. I remember it well. It was called Kitty Tour. We were on our way down there, and then we had to climb up, and with this heavy thing, I fucked my knees, and I had to be like, I had to limp out of there. It was bad. Because once your knee seizes up, yeah, so I had to be really careful with my knees for a while. There's nothing to do with what you're what you're experiencing, but yeah, I'm just making it about myself. How about that? And but the thing I wanted to do, Moongrave Fane is the pledge today, and Belorda hasn't done the hard mode there yet. Ah, that's a fun one. Yeah, we could do that later. Hey, Rogue Agent, welcome on in. How you doing? Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to Ninja Pulse. This is Khan. It's just me today. Maya is going to be around a bit later, but I may have killed the stream by that point. We will see. I guess, ultimately, if you really want Maya on the stream, we can get some subs on the go, and then I will convince her. Hey, thank you for the follow, Akotvik. Hope I'm saying that correctly. 2 birds, 1 rock. Apologies, Eggpets. Yeah, exactly. No offense taken. Likes to play catch, saying hello to Erin. Eggbirds, I think the pacing of the game is, or at least was, very good. If you just progress it by following the quests. Exactly. Again, we're talking about Enshrouded here, although I think that applies probably to ESO as well. But Enshrouded particularly so, because of the way it was developed and released like that. They're very conscious of that flow. It's kind of baked into their development process because it's been in early access, and like each new biome gets released one at a time. I think you're absolutely right. If you just sort of follow the natural gating of the game, it should work out a lot better. That's what I meant when I said I think I broke it, because I've just circumvented all of that, and yeah, it's not really how the game is supposed to work. So I haven't given myself the best experience. Erin, the community percent bar had some Helldivers inspiration, which I like. I wonder. We've asked Mike Finnegan point blank about their inspirations in the past, and we were often surprised by what we learned. Like, I thought they were going to say Vampire Survivors when we asked, so what games was it that you guys were playing when you were conceiving of Infinite Archive? Like, Vampire Survivors fever was everywhere, you know, in like internet gaming circles at that time, so I really thought that's what he was going to say. He said, no, Dead Cells. And Hades. Hades should have been obvious to me as well, perhaps, but... So yeah, they're very happy to be open about their inspirations, I think. We should ask.
Ah, there you are. I have been expecting you.
Ah, there you are. I've got to be careful. I've got to stop using Skingrad for my writs, because I'm going to grow to hate Leramil the Wise. I've nothing against that character, but now she's rapidly becoming like the only one. She's becoming the what's her name, the Stuga of my daily ESO routine. Ah, there you are. Fuck off. Yeah, Rogue Agent, good mate. You very good, thank you. Having a good day. I was a little bit sick earlier this week. Got over that rubbish. Put all that behind me. Thank goodness. It is cold as fuck around here at the moment, but for now my heating is working, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, glad to hear you're doing well. Awesome. And thank you for the follow. And hey, it's Alex GGG, right, I see. Welcome on. Yeah, I know that name. I've seen you chatting in the Discord. Welcome. This is Khan. Obviously, you know, you've met Maya also. She is not going to be on stream today, but ideally, you know, that's kind of the pitch of Ninja Pulls, among other things, is that here on Twitch, it's going to be the both of us. We unfortunately can't do it that often, because we can only really justify one of us being a full-time content creator. But, you know, we're working on that. We'll see what we can do. In the meantime, welcome on in. And, yeah, do talk to us. Do ask questions. Anything at all. I'll be happy to help. And if I don't know the answer, I won't bullshit you. I will just say, hey, that is not for me to answer. There's either somebody in chat, or I will probably, almost certainly, be able to quote you specific names, like... for PvP questions that I don't have the answer to, because I just don't do enough of it. So if it's quite an advanced query, then I'll probably slide that across the table to somebody else. Drakan on YouTube, thanks for your content. All of the news, none of the hype. Thank you. Thanks, I appreciate that. We try to keep it level, and I try not to let my takes on what Zos is doing, or how good or bad something is, be too influenced by what other people are saying. But yeah, obviously when I have something positive to say, or something insufficiently hateful to say about this game, I do get a lot of shit from people on the internet. I tend, the reflex is to ignore it, as like, you know, moaning myrtles on the internet. Just leave them be, but you don't want to shut yourself off completely, you know. So I yeah, appreciate you coming in and saying that. Thank you very much. Erin, the most challenging hike I did was 14k with a 1500 meter elevation gain and 3.6k max altitude back in 2013. Yeah, that sounds like another level. I'm talking about fairly timid stuff by comparison. Although we had to camp out in the wilderness, it was genuinely a little bit dangerous. I don't think anyone had died there for like 9 years, but it had happened. It's a game. Have fun. Wow. Draken with the hot takes there. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, like, sometimes when people get... When I read the tone... And tone is everything. You cannot really... You can't really detect somebody's tone reliably over the internet if they're typed. Like what I'm doing right now, using my voice to try and convey hesitation, or I'm equivocating a little bit. I don't hate it. I kind of... You know, things like that. A lot easier to do. The moment you lose your face, your physical presence and appearance, you lose a huge amount of communicating power and nuance that is available to you. And then if you take the voice away from that as well, and I constantly see people getting into bitch fights on Discord, and everyone just looks like an idiot, and it's only because they have misunderstood one another in a way that simply wouldn't be possible face to face or over voice, like if people are on call. So yeah, sometimes when I read people's tone, or try to, on the internet, I'm like, why are you... If you're this mad about a video game, something must be wrong in your life. Like, if the video game... Like, I depend on the ups and downs of this game to some degree for my, to pay my rent, so to speak. And even I don't get that annoyed when things go bad. Like, I'm able to keep an even keel. Some people just lose their fucking mind. They lose their mind the moment anything happens, and you're just like, wow, I love the passion that I'm seeing here, but I think it might be healthy for you to, like, unplug a little bit, because nobody should get this riled up about these things. They're not that important at the end of the day. But yeah, again, very difficult to have that conversation, isn't it? An obnoxious way of life, which is a great name. Morning! Thank you for the talk about my lovely and agonic game. Draken, well said, thank you. I like that obnoxious way of life. If I'm understanding that correctly, you're perfectly summarizing what I'm talking about, that this game has the power. And games like this, generally, they have the power to just, like, uplift, but also... It can be very dispiriting. Is that what you're saying? Like, lovely and agonic at the same time? Anyway, now that path is 22k due to all the landslides. Yikes. 14 plus 14 had to come back to. I see. She started to annoy me in Necrom already, Laramil. Oh no, poor Laramil. And Aquavic, thanks man. Already asked a few, and this morning also posted new thread in PvE section. Oh, I think I missed that. I've been pretty head down this morning, though. I've got a new video that I need to finish very fast, and there's a lot of work and a lot of footage I need to get it up and running. And I think it has to be delivered Monday. Like, I cannot go later than that. And ideally, I want to get it finished Saturday or Sunday, but it's very unlikely to happen because I'm streaming today, tomorrow, and Saturday, and I want to do at least, I don't know, at least 4 hours, maybe 3 if I'm really pushed. But normally our streams are like 5, 6, 7 more. I like doing a long stream. After a couple of hours, I feel like we've barely warmed up. You know what I mean? We all love this game. I know. Expend so much time and do a lot of friends online. Yeah, obnoxious way of life. Yeah, that is one of the things that I try to keep in mind as well. That a huge amount of, a big part of why I'm still here is the people. It's not just the game, is it?
I have a strange eggmate in Abba's Landing. She sings loudly to no
Insomnia Aaron, hello, and Uniquely Average Gaming subbing at tier 1. Thank you so freaking much for your support. That is amazing. I really do mean it. I know I'm doing my big game show voice here today because I'm on Twitch, and that's what you gotta do. But it is completely heartfelt and genuine. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity, to try this, and make a real stab at doing something cool and long term here with Twitch, Discord, YouTube, and so on. And don't forget about the website. I haven't forgotten. That's another thing I'm behind on. Oh man, I swear, early next year, I will get on top of this thing, this barrel. I'm like Bilbo in the river, like clutching the barrel and trying to get on top of it. I've got it firmly in my grasp. My arms are wrapped around that sucker, but can't get on top of the damn thing. Just keeps rolling around. But yeah, thank you so much for the sub, Uniquely Average Gaming. I'm just gonna grab a glass of water real quick while this character logs in. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. What did I miss? Welcome, welcome if you just joined. This is Khan. You're watching Ninja Pulls. Happy Thursday. Hope you're all having a good one. I actually wanted to take a moment because I didn't read this on the day that it came out. I wanted to go back. Hello there. And have a look at this message that Nick, the game director, posted. I know you guys have probably seen it already. Let's have a quick gander. Dude, come on. There we go. And Lena Elvira. Hello there. Drakan saying I'm a returning player. It's been a long time. At least 6 years. Wow. Well, hopefully you're bringing a very healthy perspective to it then. Speaking of healthy perspectives, like I said, a lot of you guys have read this. We're just going to whiz through the key points here. But this is Nick, the game director, as of a few months ago, who says, "We know that the Writhing Wall event has been disappointing for many of our players, and that you were looking forward to experiencing Phase 3 and the Writhing Fortress. This event has not met the quality standards you expect and deserve from us, and it certainly hasn't been the experience we wanted to give you. For that, I'd like to sincerely apologize." He's off to a good start, isn't he? Like, it hasn't been a fucking disaster by any measure. Like, it hasn't. But it's been really spoiled for a lot of people. Some a lot more than others. Like, so if you're here wondering, well, what the hell's wrong with the event? It was fine. Like, I've had a relatively bug-free, disappointment-free experience. My main frustration was that I told them some of these things on PTS, like drop rates too low, Fortress is too easy. I told them about the Infernium bug. I don't know if that helped at all. I wasn't able to tell them what caused it. I just told them that it was there. But yeah, that was my main frustration to the extent. But other people have had a really rough time being disappointed at every turn because they expected one thing, or they've tried the Writhing Wall, like on console, for example, it bugged out for the first day, and then they've had multiple instances that just don't work or that reset. So yeah, I think it's exactly the right way to do it. We understand that an apology only goes so far, so we wanted to share what we're doing to address this. First, as a thank you for your patience throughout all of this, we're adding 8,000 Seals of Endeavor on day 1 of the December daily login reward calendar rewards. That's a mouthful. Day 1 of the December daily login reward calendar rewards. Try to say that. We've been working hard over the past days to tackle multiple issues with Phase 3. So I guess the points to take away from this are, one, the apology, which is, you know, nice. Doesn't like make any concrete difference, but it's good to have. Secondly, that 8k Seals of Endeavor on day 1 in December. So even if you're not playing the game very often, just log in one day in December and grab these. That's half a Radiant Apex mount right there. And thirdly, we've been working hard to fix these issues. We removed the flying phases from the encounter with Zyzax. I really am sad that they had to do that, but I get it. You know, there was a bug, and if you get to the end of the fortress and then the boss just like flies off and doesn't come back, yeah, I get it. I get why they had to do this as a quick fix. But yeah, the Stormcallers was one of the few, it's basically the only thing in that fight that meant it lasted long enough to enjoy it. And they had to get rid of it. They had to get rid of that entire phase. But it fixes that one bug. The Infernium will no longer get stuck. So they were able to fix it quite quickly. Which does beg the question, why didn't they do that on PTS? But I guess just the sheer amount of data they were able to get. Maybe that's the clincher. And Scorder, I know loads of you have had this bug. Scorder will now consistently appear when you go to hand in the quest at the siege camp. And then there's some explanation as to why they're not extending Phase 3. We investigated the possibility of extending Phase 3 of this event because we want everyone to have more time to play the Writhing Fortress once these issues are fixed. However, extending the event would introduce technical risks and unknowns that could result in additional issues which we want to avoid. Yeah, you can't blame them for that. No more bugs, please. Because of this, we will let the event conclude on its current schedule, then in early 2026, we'll bring back the Writhing Fortress once we've completed additional internal tests and have had the chance to implement additional fixes. So, yeah, that makes sense to me, at least. We were trying something new with this event, but our execution ultimately didn't meet yours or our expectations. But again, this is what Maya and I have been saying, so good to know that we weren't far off the mark. This is not the experience we should have delivered. We hear your feedback, etc., etc. The grind, rewards, required activities. We take this feedback to heart, and as the new game director, I want to personally assure you that we hear you, we will learn from it, and we will do better. Thank you to everyone who shared thoughts and feedback, especially constructive criticism. There's a slightly barbed tone there, you know, that they want. Yeah, we're grateful that people are posting criticism. Keep it fucking constructive. You know, what's the point of saying this sucks and not like elaborating on why or how it could be made better? It matters, and we are listening. We truly appreciate your long-standing dedication and support to each other, and ESO. I and everyone here look forward to forging a better path ahead. So, a very cool message. And look who's first in line to comment. Huge W by Skinny Cheeks here. Hi, huge W. Thank you for the acknowledgement and the big December 1st gift in login rewards. Seeing a post like this that takes full accountability for the situation is exactly what players want to see. Screwing up is fine. Screwing up and not taking accountability and doing better is not. We appreciate it. Yeah, I totally agree. Skinny with the solid takes there. I don't know. I think all of you probably either read that message yourselves or have seen somebody post a summary of it already. But I thought, just in case, we've got quite a few people here. Let's just actually go through it point by point. So 4 takeaways, like I mentioned from that. So if you have been avoiding it because you've been experiencing those bugs, you've got 2 days left before it comes back next year, hopefully with no bugs at all. But the main ones have been fixed for now. They've been hot fixed. So get back in there, get that clear, or do it again and cleanse your palate of whatever bitter taste you had when you went in there and it was a bit of a mess. If any of you have had that experience. So there we go. Draken saying community health means a lot and transparency. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. And Obnoxious, what do you think, Draken, about how they changed the game? By my side playing from 2018. Man, that is a deep conversation. We're getting, you know, what do we think about the changes they've made to the game over the years? And hey, Lena Elvira, how you doing? I know I already sort of announced your arrival, but I was about to do something else, so I feel like I didn't give you the fulsome welcome that you perhaps deserve. Hey, Lena, how's it going? Happy Thursday. How's that? Did I do all right? People would judge me harshly if I didn't give Lena a sufficiently effusive welcome, right? Also, your name always makes me think of Elvira. I think I've mentioned this before. You know, the lady who used to do the horror movie showcases. Maya got me to watch the... Is it Mistress of the Dark, the movie is called? The first one? She got me to watch that earlier this year, and I was blown away. The level of bust engineering in that movie just blew my mind. It's one of the greatest special effects I've ever seen. How do they do that? Love Elvira. Yeah, man. Thanks for the wholesome welcome. Wholesome? Wasn't even going for that, but I'll take it. I was going for slightly drunken enthusiasm. Even though I'm obviously sober. Sober as a judge. Draken saying the combat system, or the game in general, used to feel more closed. Now it feels open, free to wander. Interesting. Yeah, I see that. And Erin, next year we need a writhing canyon instead of a writhing wall. We as a community fill the ditch with crafted arm cops. Or the junk that we've collected from various events through the year. Fill her up. Man, can you imagine if the objectives were to, like, fill the crack? Or, yeah, no. It would be impossible to talk about without doing some sort of innuendo. It'd just be impossible. Drakan saying ESO was more pay to win back in the day. Wow, I never got... I suppose in the early days when it was, you had to be a monthly subscriber in order to play it. But that was just pay to play, I guess. Now it's more community-based, guild streamers, and the way servers work with regard to location and factions. Interesting. The pay-to-win is, that is a label that ESO has wrestled with, and its community has wrestled with for many years. I honestly have never given it much credence. I've given it pretty short shrift. I think I've seen pay-to-win in other games. Like when, you know, it's unambiguously, oh, that's fucking PTW. That is simple as that. There's no bones about it. I've seen all that stuff, and I've always concluded that ESO doesn't quite do any of those things. But you do get some people who say ESO Plus is pay to win, or it's definitely pay for convenience. They want you to subscribe. They clearly do. And it's not just about incentivizing. It's like, if you try it, if you try the ESO Plus free trial, I imagine it's quite difficult to go back to having no inventory space and constantly having to spend time managing that. Like, in a way that ESO Plus users don't have to worry about. And having access to all the DLC dungeons and all of that stuff. Yeah. ESO Plus, yeah. ESO was a hard push originally, yeah. Guild Wars 2 is a harder grind. Yeah, I've heard that. Belorda knows a lot about this, right? And Dragon, yeah, that's what I meant. I don't mean paying for my service. Sorry, I don't mind paying for my service if it means contributing to the developers and there's the interaction with the community. Okay, gotcha. And Obnoxious said, I've played a lot of video games from the 90s, but finding this game really skill development like a gamer. Oh, you mean that you can work at it and get good over the long term? That's definitely true. It's a weird game though, isn't it? Like, a lot of it's not so much the skill involved. There is some, clearly. There's definitely skill involved in this game. It would be dumb to suggest otherwise, but I think the knowledge and context of what you're doing is way more important than your moment-to-moment physical gaming skills. That is a mistake that a lot of players make, sadly. And these are the Skyrim fans, the people who are Elder Scrolls fans first and MMO fans second. A lot of them fall into this trap of, especially if they don't play a ton of action games, they don't particularly engage with the idea of, this game is super difficult, it's starting to challenge me, I need to get good. If they don't crack open games that do that to you that often, they will very often fall under this misapprehension that ESO is really difficult and has a very, very high skill bar for success, and it's not true. It is a knowledge bar, if you like. The skill gap is actually pretty shallow, I think. In terms of, being able to do all the hard modes in the game. Sure, being able to keep up with the very, very fastest score-pushing groups, then that's different. But that is not skill that the game is demanding. It's skill that those groups are pushing for. Utterly unnecessary levels of finesse. I love that. And that's cool. I'm really glad that that community exists. But clearly, it's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to or is able to, game at quite that level. But the Elder Scrolls Online itself, the actual video game, does not ask you to do any of that. And I think it's a real shame that that misunderstanding is something the devs have really struggled to address. They don't come out and say it often enough. This game is easy. Please try and engage with, and do trials and do dungeons and give it a go. It's not as hard as you think. And there are some content creators out there who've unfortunately fed that idea as well, especially with quote-unquote easy options, heavy attack builds, open soul, one-bar setups over the years. A lot of them have fallen back on this argument, well, this game is super hard. You're not good enough to play it properly, so have this set of training wheels and never take them off. And yeah, it's wasted a lot of people's time, in my opinion. And Shabby UK saying when it first came out, I didn't like the game as fighting groups was too hard for someone on their own. You mean overland mobs and stuff like that? I used to approach the game... It was quite a long time before I really developed an instinct for an AoE build. Like using AoE abilities to kill everything at once. It should be obvious, and maybe if I'd had more... If I was more well-versed in MMOs, I wouldn't have taken so long to realize. But as soon as we started doing dungeons, it became clear that, that's a thing that the game obviously wants you to do. And Lena Alveria, Mistress of the Dark is the best one. Bust engineering. Yeah, I can't think of a better term for it. There's a scene in Friends where Joey is talking about the thong and the joys of the thong. Because it's like, I don't know, autumn just arrived in New York and the breeze is blowing all the ladies' skirts up in the air. So I'm really thankful for the thong. It's timely. It's a Thanksgiving episode, I think, which is just a few days away. For all you holiday-making Americans. Or just people who celebrate it in other countries. But, yeah, he's saying, it's not so much a garment as a feat of engineering. That is very much of a piece with that Elvira discussion. And Zdenya, welcome in. And Tahara Jid, ooh, how's it going? Shabby UK came out recently, it's a lot better. Good. Excellent. Power creep, man. It's not all bad. It creates some issues, And Xenia, I'm sorry to hear, my back is broken today. So for those who don't know, Xenia slipped on his way to the store in the snow yesterday. The way you described it did make me smile, but also made me concerned because you were like, ow, that fucking hurt. But apparently it was a cartoon-style wipeout. Both feet up in the air, landed on the back, boom. Obviously no damage done. It's going to be an interesting gym session later today. Man, if I'd done that, there's no way I'd be going to the gym. I'd just take the excuse. And Subtleton, welcome on in. Imagine being that guy working the plank day one, day in. Right, someone comes along and parks themselves on it, I see. And Aaron ESO, just like everything in life, is pay to win. You need to pay $4 billion US to win ESO for yourself. Yeah. It's only really an issue having that conversation when people throw around the term pay to win so casually. Like, and it almost becomes an academic exercise where you need to, well, before we begin our discussion, let's define our terminology. It's like gamers talking smack on the internet, they don't want to do that shit. I don't want to have to clarify with a short essay what I mean when I say pay to win every time. But that is what a lot of these discussions devolve into after like 3 comments, It's just bickering over semantics and definitions, right?
I have been expecting you.
Scottish Tornado, hey, the problem with the game is the time required to stay at the top level. I don't think I can argue with that. Yeah, I'm just sort of passing through that statement in my mind. Is it a problem? You could definitely argue that it is. I can see that. And hey, Scottish Tornado. How you doing? Hope you're having a good week. Welcome on in. This is one of Maya's PvP buddies from back in the day. Give him a warm welcome, everyone. Also, he's Scottish, so he'll fuck you up. Just kidding. Lovely guy. You're the guy with the Nightblade, the PvP Nightblade called Ball of Soft, right? I love that name. It's a Khajiit. That always made me laugh. Yeah, Erin's saying exactly what I was saying. It's okay to take a break, take a rest day, let your body recover. Gym without proper recovery is not good, sometimes bad even. Yeah, that's a more sensible comment than I had to offer. Said, yeah, no, I'd rather go and do what I can. Rest is not in my vocabulary. Wow. Definitely is in mine. Not that I get the chance to do it very often, but every now and again, I see the opportunity and I fucking take it. You gotta. There's a Devin Townsend concert for those of you who know who I'm talking about. Congrats. Those who don't worry about it. He's just a heavy metal musician, and he did a bunch of solo gigs a few years back. And for the like his banter between songs, one of them was him like quoting his dad when he was a kid, and he says, "All right, son, let me tell you about life. Life is that once a month for 15 minutes, life is good." And it's what you do with that 15 minutes that really matters. Or something like that. It's a little bit cynical, but I like that. And Erin, we don't need to keep playing ESO to keep up. One can take a few months break and still come back and be at top level. Ooh, if the meta is pretty stale, but I've seen people do what Tornado is talking about, like take 3 months, 6 months, and it's like, whoa, I need to redo a whole bunch of stuff. And if you're just playing ESO week to week, you don't really notice it. Like I would describe the meta as having been quite boring in terms of lack of changes up to subclassing and then after it as well. But it's not quite true. There have been things have risen, things have fallen in the mix. Sets have come in and out of favor.
Well done.
Interesting. But yeah, obviously it has been a little bit different this time because there's just been this huge bombshell of an update in the middle of the year, and either side of it, not a lot of stuff happening. And Gabriel Wolf, when I think of pay to win, I definitely do not think of ESO. Because you can't really pay money for the best gear, but I could be wrong. Yeah, exactly. That's the definition in my head as well. I'm just saying sometimes people will bring their own definition, a different one, or they'll make something up to justify a slightly idiotic remark that they make to a YouTube video that then, you know, the owner of that channel then decides to question it and ask them to elaborate. Don't know where I'm getting that example from. Draken, getting good only lasts so long. The community is what keeps the game going. Yeah, one update can break everything, especially the developer isn't transparent. Yeah, these are all good points. I love that the devs did say, I don't know, 18 months ago, something like that. We're really hoping to be done with these big combat changes that sort of pull the rug out from underneath everyone. And they must have known that they were working on... Rich knew damn well they had subclassing in the works. Obviously, he couldn't mention it, but... that was a thing that they knew was coming in about a year's time. But yeah, I still understand what he meant, and I think... It's the right attitude that the game needs to settle now. Settle down and just focus on tweaking that meta so that it is broad and stable and not boring. And listen to the endgamers, for God's sake. Don't listen to them to the exclusion of everyone else, but there is a... I don't know. I think there is an unhealthy tendency in the ESO community, not necessarily by the devs, but definitely by the community, myself included, possibly, to undervalue the contributions of late game commentary. Because it's like, well, those guys are in a very privileged position. You know, people have all sorts of names for it. Sweatlords, elites, tryhards, whatever. Mostly derogatory in some way. And I've had a little bit of this myself. When I said the Writhing Fortress, I think it's too easy. The fact that I can solo it is not a good sign. And people reacted instinctively with like, yeah, but that doesn't mean shit. You're like really good at the game, whatever. It's like, that is not, I'm not bringing a sweaty perspective here. I'm talking, I rocked up in medium armor. I did almost nothing to give myself a solo build. And I was cruising through everything but the bosses. There's nothing in there that's even remotely challenging for and without a special build. You know, give this build to anyone and they could probably do it if they just already knew how to play. That's not okay. It needs to be tougher. And we've had a couple of people say that. I think Likes to Play Catch was saying, yeah, I went in there and just everything melted. I didn't even have the chance to fire any abilities. It was boring. I'm not going to do that again. Which sucks. You don't want as a developer, you don't want people to have that experience with a thing that you spent time on making fun. But yeah, when I brought this up, the devs that were in the chat and the other content creators that were there, I think there was an assumption that I was boasting, or, you know, that I wasn't speaking for the typical player. And yeah, I am not a perfect ambassador for the average ESO player. I don't even know what that means, and nor would I ever pretend to be. But there are definitely things that get brought up by, you know, the folks who score push a trial when it goes on PTS, or that, you know, they will learn it. They'll learn the hard modes. They'll get the trifecta, and then when it goes on live, they will get the trifecta within the first hour, so that they can have a world first. That, you know, that is a very, very thin, that is the needle tip of the ESO community in terms of like thin end of the wedge. But I think that doesn't mean, yeah, so they don't represent all of us, but that doesn't mean we don't listen to what they have to say, because loads of those guys were critical of Ossian Cage, not like hating on it, but there were some criticisms in weeks 2, 3, and especially once it went live that it was too easy, here are some problems with it, all that stuff. And yeah, I think if the devs had been more receptive to that perspective, they could have improved the trial, even the last minute stuff. Because let's face it, how many people are going to Ossian Cage? None of my groups are there. No one ever requests an open run in there. And it sucks, the trial isn't bad, it's just there's no kind of hype around it. And I'm not saying making it more difficult magically fixes all that, but, you know, I think the community, as a community, we can help the devs by, like, getting away from this tendency to shut other people up, because they apparently represent a different side of the ESO player base. Anyway, that's just a pet theory. Not a big deal. Where were we? And then Lena Elvira was saying I managed to get through the Writhing Fortress early in the event, which is lucky as I dislocated my finger on Sunday, so no heavy fighting in ESO for me for a while. Yikes. That sounds like a very small part of the body, but so crucial. I bet that hurts like hell. Which is why I love ESO, as I can still play my favorite game. Just overland, explore, crafting. Yeah, do cozy mode for a while. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I don't do it often as I should, but when I do go into story mode in the game and just do overworld stuff, yeah, I wish it was a little harder. Certainly the bosses, so that they don't immediately die when I look at them. But yeah, it's fun to switch from optimized mode to just super chill. Big fun, I like it. So, yeah, the nice sound when I landed on the air went out like a really old man. Oh, no. Squash Trainer, I am nice. Yeah, that's me, yeah. Good shit. Erin, I'm a lazy bum. Use every chance to rest that I can. Not necessarily a bad policy, I gotta say. Hey, Cozy Caster, I allowed that term. Schnacks, it ends up with every optional content you can buy, making the game pay to win. Yeah, right? So that, like, is Battlefield 6 pay to win because you have to buy the game? No, it fucking isn't. That's not what pay to win means. It means that after you've bought the content, you can confer an advantage, an unfair advantage, by paying for something extra. Yeah, I agree. So, Schnack's saying, it ends up with every optional content you can buy, making a game pay to win, which just blurs the term and distracts from the actual predatory monetization models. Yeah. Like the term dark patterns, the same thing hasn't happened to that one, but I see people throwing it around, and either they don't quite know what it means, or they don't care, and they just want to make a big deal. Like, dark patterns is serious, like unethical or straight up illegal use of trickery, basically. You know when you sign up for something on the internet, 1 week free trial, but then they make you pay for the next month, and it's a nightmare to cancel it, and they use awkward, annoying, and long-winded cancellation processes to disincentivize you from actually doing it. It's more of a problem in mobile gaming, not like AAA big studio kind of stuff, or the indie scene. But yeah, dark patterns is a real problem, and legislation is being drawn up, you know, in the background as we speak to try and codify what you can and cannot do. And yeah, I'm sure that will result in some class action suits against big games and big studios that have found that they crossed a line which wasn't written in law, but now it is. And that is why we have things like Microsoft making sure that ZOS introduced a Seals of Endeavor system when they bought the company. I'm sure that's it. It's not because Microsoft has any fucking ethical concerns. Give me a break. It's because their lawyers are smart and well paid and looking into the future and thinking, well, we want to, you know, it's not worth generating a little bit of extra profit now and potentially incurring this time-consuming, very expensive and embarrassing and damaging class action lawsuit later on if we are found to have been on the wrong side of this issue once it gets settled legally. Anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get off that topic. And Aaron's saying, by keep playing to stay at the top, is something games like Destiny do a lot, where the power cap increases almost every season, and power level is tied to how much damage one outputs. Yep, so one needs to keep playing to stay at the top. Yet one will be rusty when coming back to ESO, but it doesn't take much time to fix. I see, yeah, you don't have to go and get a bunch of new things. That's true. That is true. But yeah, you can come back and be like, whoa, quite a few things have changed. I gotta tweak my rotation. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Or the DK that I was playing that was like super OP, you know, a while back now is basically in the bin. And it's now going to be Fate Carver with backed up by Ardent Flame abilities. No talons, none of that stuff. But yeah, again, subclassing, kind of a bad example because it was such a huge deal. The gear meta, Aaron, has been a bit stale. There are only a few PvE meta sets which one needs to farm. Yeah, there's a lot more. There are actually quite a lot that you will see people using if they're really optimizing. Like, let me think off the top of my head. I want to make sure that I have Unsul, Null Archer, Deadly, probably Tideborn for certain things. I want to have Aegis Caller for certain fights. I probably want Advancing Yukita 4-piece, maybe 5-piece for dummy humping. Maybe. That probably doesn't count. Maybe Highland Sentinel as well for certain fights. Azure Blight, if I'm the one who gets the chance to use it. I want to have a bunch of 1-pieces available in light and medium. What else? I want to have Velothi. I want to have Huntsman's War Mask. That's probably it for the mythics, at least, right? And then if I'm doing tanking and healing, then obviously we're adding a whole bunch of stuff in there. But I think those are all sets that I want on hand. But then if you're not doing trials of that organized a level, yeah, you can get away with just slot deadly and unsoul everywhere. Done. Job's a good one, boss. That kind of thing. So yeah, but you can slice it and dice it how you want. Like, how much time do you have? How much do you care about optimization? Is it going to bother you that somebody overtakes you in, you know, like 5% damage because they're running a better set for that fight than you are? Because not every person and not every group gives a shit about that. They just don't. Most do not. So yeah, the gear meta has been a bit stale. There are only a few PvE meta sets which one needs to farm. Yep. And power cap is also constant. Once someone reaches enough CP to fill all the required nodes, everybody there, there's no need to earn XP. Yeah, I guess. That's a good point. But yeah, Scottish Tornado knows this. I guess the original comment was more about the meta does shift, and if you're gone for 3 months, you might need to invest some time into getting up to speed, but also you'll probably have missed some of the tech. You know, strats changing. Oh, you pre-buff this way now. You know, things like that work their way into the sort of the late game, quote unquote. A BMRS NR fan. I also think it's too easy. I've only been gaming for less than a year. I'm at level 1100. No gear. The overworld is too easy. The devs have basically admitted that now. I mean, it's staring them right in the face. They didn't know whether they should do anything about it, but they've decided, and hopefully that'll be next year. We haven't heard a lot about it yet, but I'm hoping they've gone quiet so that they can, because it's almost ready and they can like let it go. Hey Haskas, how you doing? Do we know anything about the 2026 content pass? We do not. I think we're finding out about that early next year. I genuinely don't know. But yeah, there should be information on it pretty soon, so we can start getting interested, excited, hopeful, nervous. All of the above, probably. But yeah, we were talking about that yesterday here on the channel. Like, what is it that people want? Not necessarily from a content point of view, but, you know, what do we predict? What do we expect? What would we be delighted by? What do we not want to see? And we were having a pretty fun convo about all that shit yesterday. My predictions basically boiled down to very, very obvious ones. One, we gotta get a combat overhaul because subclassing has got holes in it and they haven't patched many of the main issues yet. And, like, there's no reason for them to wait unless they were doing a more wholesale approach rather than, you know, individually tackling things here and there. That's my prediction. I think that's a thing that they've been working on, and that's why we've seen so little on subclassing in the last 6 months since it came out, in a way that has disappointed a lot of people. I've been saying it from the beginning. I hope that's what they're doing. And what was the other thing we talked about, guys? Oh yeah, more of a break from the sort of content format that we've had over the last 7 years or whatever. And yeah, let's face it, Seasons of the Worm Cult did some new stuff, definitely. It was fresh in a few ways, but a lot of people were baffled about, hang on, isn't this the new release model? It's just the same, but with a sort of a much more pre-ordery element to it. Plus it has the words season and pass, you know, very, very close to each other in a way that makes me nervous. A lot of gamers just had that reaction to it. Man, I got a lot of crap on my various characters, haven't I? Sorry about this, it's inventory management day. Bit of November spring cleaning here. Cozy Castle saying people were dropping like flies in most fights. Was that that was the Writhing Fortress, right? The reality is most players aren't good at the game because there's no built-in way to learn how to play. Writhing Fortress isn't targeted as endgame content, but it is a great way to learn to spot mechs for new unfamiliar players without feeling like you're the shit person in your team. Yeah, I agree. I saw very few people die. To be honest. Well, quite a few people died in the last fight. But that's the only place where there's big incoming damage. And that's why I liked that bit the best. I thought, you know, there was a small, but, you know, possible chance that the fight will actually reset. Because everyone will fucking die. If it's a very scuffed group, or if it's like, if they're one of the first few in there, and nobody has read the guides, or know any mechanics. I like that that is a possibility, like a dragon in Elsewhere. You know, you don't tend to see it, but it can reset if it kills everyone. And you see a lot of people die on dragons in Elsewhere, probably more than anything else. Harrow Storms are very easy to solo now. Miramore incursions were surprisingly easy to solo. I just did one of them for that video a few weeks ago, and I was like, what? I honestly wasn't sure if I'd be able to solo it with, you know, with a basic squishy setup, but I was. It wasn't even difficult. In fact, it was harder when there was somebody else there, because the ads weren't all attacking me. They would not stack. They would jump around, and it took me longer to kill everything. I actually told this person, I actually asked them, is there any way you'd let me solo this? Hey, Obnoxious Way of Life, thank you for becoming a Silver Ninja. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, that's on YouTube. That is massively appreciated. Welcome on in. Chub UK, this should be a game for everyone. So all voices, top, middle, and basic views are important. Yeah, I agree with that. You can't make a game for everyone. At the end of the day, it's sort of a one-way ticket to making a shit game. But yeah, they should try to broaden its appeal. MMOs kind of have to do that. You can't do that thing where you narrowcast your game. That might work for something like Space Marine too, where we're like, alright, there's a very specific type of gameplay that we are gonna put boners in the shorts of a lot of players around the world by focusing on this and not allowing mission creep and mainstream aspirations to you know, to blur our mission. And it's a great example of that. It did really, really well. Critically, commercially. Well, critically, actually, it was sort of a general thumbs up, but commercially, it was an absolute fucking bombshell. You can't really do that with a live service game whose very existence, whose very success depends on it being quite mainstream and broad in its appeal, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, Chappy, absolutely correct. Eggbirds, I think it's illegal in the EU to only have access to certain things in the game through loot crates. Thought that's why they started to introduce the Seals of Endeavors. It was a Microsoft thing. They weren't required to do it by the law. They were required to do it by Microsoft. But yeah, Microsoft, they see the writing on the wall in the way that Bethesda may not yet have decided. So they had a more prudent or a more forward-thinking, whatever you want to call it, policy with regard to loot crates. Pokemon Unite even got taken down in Netherlands and Belgium because of how they monetize the game. Wow, I didn't know that. But yeah, this stuff is changing. The EU doesn't move very fast on these things, but when it does move, the rest of the world tends to follow. It's called the Brussels effect. Because it's such an important... It's such a huge trading block that generally, if they have a standard over there in the EU, and unless it's something like food, which isn't traded internationally in as great volume. I'm not an expert on this, by the way. I used to be a bit more up to speed with all this stuff, but you know, it's been a few years. Basically, it's easier for lawmakers in the US from a trade standpoint or from a tech standpoint just to adhere to most, if not all, of the stipulations in Brussels so that things can function internationally. So for that reason, I'm pretty proud of what's going on in Netherlands. Belgium especially seems very keen on, I don't know why that is, They must have a few politicians there that are like very keen on regulating gaming and protecting customers from predatory bullshit in those areas. And yeah, the objective is not to go after the big studios. It's generally to draw up legislation that means that these shitty apps and mobile games that have no reason to exist other than to filch people out of their money, that they can just be killed on the launch platform. You know, they don't even make it to an app store or wherever it is that you might find them. And if that then ensnares some big studio games as well, who happen to be on the wrong side of that line that they're drawing, you know, the line in the sand. Across this line, you do not! That was a Big Lebowski reference for the fans out there. Yeah, I think that's the goal, and I appreciate that. And it can only be a good thing, especially if they have that influence, you know, that it kind of reaches around the world to a degree. People don't have to copy it, but they often do, just passively, because it's easier than doing the opposite. Maybe I'm mixing up with Pokemon Pocket TCG game. That game isn't available in the Netherlands or Belgium because of the loot box thing. Okay, interesting. Sultan, the Fortress is arguably hard for a lot of the player base. Thoughts on a vet option for the more capable players? Ooh, yeah. I like the idea of keeping it simple. And if you guys are saying, no, it was pitched right, I do think I was unnecessarily worried about the difficulty. I just thought these mobs are not going to last more than a few seconds. And I was correct. However, I also thought that would be a huge problem and a huge disappointment. And I think I was wrong about that. It didn't really bother me. Doesn't seem to have bothered that many of you. And if some of you are saying it's hard for some people, I don't understand how that's possible. There's almost no incoming damage, and the enemies have so little health. Like, I'm not kidding. You can go back and watch my VODs of me just through the beamer. It's not an ambitious or complicated setup, or difficult to use. It's like blockade, flail, beam, and everything's dead in seconds. The only stuff that I'm doing that other people might not be aware of is, you know, major resolve. Make sure I brought that, but I don't think you can call that difficult. That's like just knowing how to play. And again, there are loads of guides out there, not least my own, saying do this and that. And the fact that I would, you know, tickle the enemies, then do something like this to bring them around a corner, and then start beaming. Which, you know, I guess not everyone is familiar with that little bit of tech. That's fine. But definitely not a skill issue. Not really. Just a knowledge thing. But yeah, I don't think the difficulty was a big issue. I think they could make it a little bit harder for next time. But more importantly, I want them to try to find better ways to have like, these giant, visually spectacular encounters, but without relying on siege. Especially now that they've done it so much in the first one, I really hope they find another way to do that. I think movement might be a cool way to do it. Have synergies or areas that you need to stand in and get out of. Might not be the most satisfying combat experience, but if you can incorporate some of that. We literally had somebody in here the other day asking what stacking was. They'd been to a VCR and had been told we're disbanding the group. Nobody is stacking, and they were asking all sorts of questions about stacking. What is this? Are we talking about debuffs? Are we talking about stacking damage? They just didn't know what it meant. And they can't be alone. There must be loads of people who are like, that's a thing? Standing in one place so that everybody gets a buff? That would be a fun way to do it. Cozy Gun Starter, so people died of mechs countless times in the 10 times I ran it. People died to the bubble mech on the right side boss. The water all throughout the circles. Alright, people are dying to the water. That's not that it's hard. I think that's just there to provide a general sense of threat. I don't think you change the water because people are dying to it. I think leave it there because people are dying to it. It teaches them you can't just stand wherever you want. You've got to make decisions about your movement and your positioning. And I died to it. Did I think it... Like, I just took an unnecessary risk. I took a little bit of fall damage, landed in the water, and I didn't have the buff up, and there was no healer nearby. So, yeah, I just fucking bought it. Right then and there. But that just made it more fun for me. I thought that... I like that can happen. Like, it's not gonna... That's not gonna cause a wipe. Do you know what I mean? I think the more deaths you can create in there, without slowing the progress, or like, you know, resetting the fight. I think resetting the fight is a bummer. But actually, I think a lot of people dropping dead would be the way to go. That just makes it way more chaotic, way more fun. But I hardly saw anybody die to actual combat. Yeah, in the water, you're absolutely right. And like I said, the fact that I could solo the mobs, it just didn't seem right. It made me feel very, very good. But, and I confess, it wasn't as big an issue as I thought it would be. It just wasn't. But everybody in chat was like, surely that ain't right. People were suggesting, oh, this can't be the real fortress. You're getting like a light version for PTS because they know they're not going to be that many people. Surely, enemies will have 10 times the HP when it goes live. Turns out, no. They did bump up their health a little bit because I begged them to. Hey, likes to play catch. Thank you for that one. But yeah, not a huge amount. Still need to watch The Big Lebowski. Yeah, you do. What's the difference between Brussels sprout and a chickpea? Is that a real question? Chappie, a little while ago they were looking at MTG. See if it was to be considered the same as loot crates. I see. Kozakans, the number of players running around only light and heavy attacking is alarming. That's what the game teaches. I feel like these issues with skill gap are more obvious on consoles. Maybe. I definitely noticed something when I went to the NA server yesterday. I did a quick fortress on the NA server. People weren't attacking the crystals when they needed to be attacked. People just had no idea what was going on. I wonder if player turnover in the US is faster or something. If there are a lot more newer players and who leave after 6 months or whatever. I don't know. But always fresh ones coming in. Because that's what it looked like. It looked like people who hadn't played the game long enough to understand how anything works. Because the NPCs are literally calling out in English what you need to do. So yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Yes, that's set up for a joke. Because I'm not saying to remove it. You said you hadn't seen that many die, I just disagree. Well, we're not disagreeing. You're saying you saw people die, and I'm saying I didn't. But, in the water, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, there's no disagreement. We just saw different things. That's totally fine. And I would rather hear someone who had a different experience or different perspective provide it. So thank you for that. Always. That's what the Fortress is teaching, in my opinion, how to spot those types of mechs. Yeah, so that's why I think it should be harder. So that it teaches that more effectively. Or just the fights last a little bit longer. Like the Harvester lasts a very long time. The other two bosses and all of the trash pulls are over so quickly. You barely have a chance to take any of it in. Like a genuinely new player would not learn much from observing that. But yeah, I think it's really exciting what they could do in the future. Whether or not we'll see them back away from this event style content now, because it didn't go as well as they'd hoped. That might happen. I'd be surprised and disappointed. I think they will double down and make sure it is, well, importantly, bug-free. Next time, you've got to have more robust testing, apparently, to make sure something like this works smoothly and is properly polished ahead of it going live. And also they will try some more interesting things and maybe make it shorter, more compact. Not so many fetch quests, make it distinct from like holiday events, which are very fetch quest oriented, you know? But they don't last that long, typically. And Fred, the ESO, if you go into a trial pug, it's usually people who are farming and for whom the content is quite new. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. People who haven't yet understood that guilds are the way to play this game. In the same way that I didn't. I wasn't particularly interested in joining a guild. I just didn't see the value of it. And it was only when I met someone randomly doing pug dungeons, and they were really cool. It was a guy called Ryan. Maya and I were playing together. And we duoed a bunch of these normal dungeons before we wanted to do them on vet, because it was quite easy. It was becoming quite easy to do them on normal. But veteran, even like some of the base game dungeons, it was such a crapshoot. So when we found this guy who knew what was going on, and was like not socially inept, knew how to use chat, spoke English, was able to, you know, listen to our description of mechanics and provide his own, we immediately both added him to friends list and started doing dungeons that way. He then invited us to this guild called the Legion. Legionum Inferni it was called, which is some incorrect Latin. And that was run by a really cool young Norwegian guy living in Denmark, Mr. Legacy, a good buddy of mine. And that is how Maya and I got started, really. We started playing with a couple of German dudes. Then the lockdown happened. I was like, shit, what are we going to do? Play more ESO. And yeah, within a few months, Maya was practically running the guild, because she's good at that kind of thing. And loads of people were coming into the game. They wanted organized runs to go to. I learned how to raid lead, some of the easier trials. We went from there. Eventually, it got to the point where our trial and teaching activity was sort of getting in the way of the whole social guild thing. So we spun it out. We're still mates with Mr. Legacy, but Ninja Poles became its own thing. And that is that. So, learning the value of the social side, the MMO side of the MMO, the fact that there are lots of other people here, they are the most valuable content out there. They're also the worst content out there sometimes, but in this game that's mercifully rare, I think. The number of people who are genuinely just trolling is pretty low. So yeah, I would always, like, take the plunge. And if you meet a couple of dickheads, or if you don't get anywhere for a while, don't worry about it. There are guilds out there. You can either join the guild and then try and meet the people that way, or just meet the people, like interact with the people you're in a dungeon group with. If they start chatting back, you know, hit on them a little bit. You know, send them a friend request. Ask if they can recommend any good guilds. That kind of stuff. And Fred ESO said, for me, a guild provided training on pug trial strategies. Then I graduated to vet pugs. Typically find trial pugs slightly better than players in training guilds. Oh, you joined the wrong guilds. Is all I can say. Yeah, the thing is, a guild run doesn't necessarily make it good. It's if the people running the guild and the people running the trial are doing it the right way. They're attempting to communicate and organize, strategize, and help everyone involved to get the clear more quickly. That requires somebody to take responsibility. A lot of people don't want to do that, understandably. Some people do want to do that, but they don't want to do the work involved. They just like being in charge. And in either of those situations, yeah, you're not going to be much better than a pug, maybe even worse. But there are so many guilds who do a great job of this. You know, with raid leads who actually know what they're doing, and who can really help at the individual level. Some people don't pay a Brussels sprout on their face. Got him. I'm not sure I get it, Erin. Sorry I didn't take the bait on that one. I just... I don't know. It was sort of apropos of nothing, I just didn't know how to interpret that one. Feel free to try another gag instead. You hate to see it. a joke not landing. Yeah, with that, we are finally done with Rittich. Is our health still here? Is Belorda here? You guys want to do some dungeons or something? And hey, Gilly, how you doing? I'm alright, thank you. Having a good Thursday. Hope you are too. And like Split Catch, gotta go. Chickpea on your face. We are here. I'm just speaking for everyone. Well, if you want to do something. I can bring a DPS, I can bring a tank, I can bring a healer, I can do anything. Because I'm on Xbox, I've always assumed Game Pass players play a part in turnover for us on my platform. That could be it. Could be it. Some people don't pay a Brussels sprouts. Yeah. Already read that one. Yeah, with the hotfixes, the whole thing goes a lot faster too. It does. In a way which I really didn't enjoy. The only time I played the hotfixed version was yesterday, so there were no Stormcallers to slow that fight down. Thank you for understanding my dumb joke. I think we all got it. I would rather live in a world where nobody's paying for any of that. I just don't want to go there. Don't want to think about that. So to me, the joke doesn't work because that isn't true. Even though I've seen it happen at a festival once. No payment was involved. Guy just asked. I had a tank below a healer and a Khan DPS. I thought I was good. I thought was good. Well, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome to Ninja Pulls. Happy Thursday. We're going to do some dungeons by the look of it. Anybody wants to join, let me know and we'll get you in the mix. We need a DPS who knows what they're doing, but you don't need to have done it before. Just so long as you know the basics, should be good. Right, let me craft some food before I forget. Just check that I don't have any in the bank. Nope. What should he have? The garlic cod, the sticky pork, or the braised rabbit? I think sticky pork for an Arcanist somehow. Yeah, we need one more DPS? Absolutely. It'll be good for me too. I haven't been to Moongrave Fane in 3 years. I did it not that long ago. We redid every dungeon trifecta with Sin and Danyo. Every single dungeon in the game. I mean, there were definitely deaths, obviously, but we went in there and most of them, I think we got a trifecta on the first go. Just in honor of the fact that we'd got every dungeon achievement in the game. We went back through and played all of them on stream. Hard modes and all the rest. That was pretty fun. Rabbit. Sorry, Belorda, too late. I don't want to shoot the bunny. It's coming right for us. Come on, guys. Who wants a nice, chill Moongrave Fane trifecta?
There you are. I have been expecting you.
I can even run banner, to be fair. Let me just save this one. And then equip. Ah, shoot. I haven't got my DK setup saved? Well, that sucks. I guess I'll go with this one instead. Come on, guys. Oh, should we just 3-man it? I think it'll be fine. There's so much power creep. If nobody wants to come with us, I guess we can just do it with 1 DPS. Gilly-chan, you're gonna have to go have coffee with my parents? I'll be back after. Enjoy! Enjoy that coffee. I've not had a coffee today. I'm a little bit jealous. Can you bring me one? Likes to play catch. I would, but I got the girls while the wife's gone out. Otherwise, would jump at the chance. I mean, if you're able to, we can wait for you if that helps. Like if you need to sort of take 5 here and there, we'll just talk with chat. Or if you just need to die and get rezzed because you've got other stuff going on, feel free. Don't write it off. We can try it. What's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work. Which server are you on? We're on PCEU right now. Got some old pledges here. Teach the girls to do writs and make use of free child labor. Yeah, so much this, exactly. Goes regards to Xbox achievement stats. Quite interesting for showing how many people try ESO, but to stick with it. 5.67% of players over the last 10 years spent their first CP point. How do you know that? Is that just an achievement tracker that's built into Xbox? Like Steam achievements, which this game doesn't have. Yeah, built in for Xbox like Steam. Hey, Tevi, how's it going? By the way, Tevi, I was in the middle of drafting a response to you this morning. We shouldn't do this over stream. But yeah, no worries at all. You're awesome. Big hugs and all the rest. You know, the Splint group isn't the premier, like, smashing hard mode, score-pushing group of the guild. So, I was honestly surprised that you wanted to join. But, yeah, it was fun raiding together for a while. If you want to join any of the others or come to some of our open runs, you are always welcome. And, guys, also, give it up for Tevi in Twitch chat here with us. Ahel, you logging in? What's going on? There he is. It's a fun group. I'll be able to back up for a few of them if need be. Awesome. Yeah, I really like the guys in that group. Like the personnel changes that happen over time means it's like the ship of Theseus. You know that eventually it's not even the same group anymore. Everyone's changed. But we do have some folks that have been in it for ages. And I really didn't want, when Sin left and couldn't lead the group anymore, honestly, I didn't have time. I did not have time to pick up the lead for Splint. But there was no one else, and I did not want to let the group down. It's been really fun. Likes to play catch. I've got like 90% of the achievements for ESO on Xbox. Wow. Are they, I mean, to what extent do they map onto these? I'm guessing they're quite different. Because I'm not doing that well. I'm at like 58k out of 73k.
You'll fill the bill nicely.
Tevi, do you want to join us for a dungeon? Anybody want to join us for a dungeon? You do not need to have this hard mode. It's absolutely fine. They're the same, just not all of them, I see. Moongrave Fane, hard mode. It's a pledge today. Just bring your DPS. Or we can just 3-man it. Honestly, I think that might be more fun. Just to see the extent to which that is possible. But obviously things will be a little bit easier with two DDs. Alright, Tabby's coming. Let's do this. You can just whisper me a plus when you're ready. Alright guys, so we're off to do a pledge. Moongrave Fane specifically. Hey kiddings, how you doing? So Freddy, so I'm assuming you're on a different server, given that you asked and And just no response. Sorry about that, yeah. I do play on PC NA as well, but my characters are nowhere near as geared as they are over here. This is my main, this is the main server that I play on. Kidding's lurking while working. Well, thank you so much. And let's show Balord of the hard mode. Jesus. You want to choose your words again on that one? I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And let's remind Ahal what the fuck the mechanics are in there. Yeah, sorry, my edit in the swearage. What the fuck is a mechanic? I unga bunga pass. Bonk bonk. I mean, these days, that'll get you through like 98% of content, won't it? Just bonking stuff on the head. Apparently I have some potions in my bank? What? Where are we looking? Okay, those are my DK's potions. Why does he not want them? I must have banked them by accident. Fuck it, I'll take them. Usually something I have to dodge. In this case, something you have to... I mean... Tanking is so easy now. You're bringing Frost Cloak and all the usual stuff, right, Ahelt? Nice. Mechanics fix cars. Don't know why is everybody asking for them in ESO. We don't even have any cars yet. Yeah, steampunk vehicles coming to ESO. And we've got those Dwemer mounts, haven't we? Balorda is shaking in their boots right now. I really don't think so. Honestly, probably the only one who has much to do in that final hard mode is the healer. Because there are lots of, like, defiles and stuff like that in there. 2 DDs, 1 tank. 1 healer, sorry. Yeah. I'm still bummed that this weapon swap thing ain't working. Like, that's so bad. Let me turn a couple of things down. It could be just the psychology of it, but I definitely sense smoother gameplay if I just turn a few things off, and it has almost no impact on the visuals. Not wearing boots, just nice shoes. I'm wearing flip-flops right now. How manly am I? Flip-flops around the house, man. Why do I see 2 swords? Am I high? No, that's the bug I'm talking about. When you swap to a dual-wield bar, your weapons just conform to whatever hand position you were in before. Works with staves as well. Speaking of staves, I might have to switch to that. We'll see. Got my panda slippers on. Did you ever see a movie called Labyrinth, Balorda? I'm guessing you didn't. Got a plus from Tevi. Nice. Seriously, can I get over this bug? Can I unsee? Like, when you're in... I'll give you a minute to grab the pledge if you want, Tevi. Already in Stormhaven, so I'm guessing you got it. Moongrave Fane. That's not it. That one. Dance, magic, dance, magic, dance. Yeah, there we go. He likes to play catches on it.
We ain't found shit.
Hey, Anoxera, how you doing? We found you. But yeah, Balorda, there's just a bit in it where the hero, the heroine character discovers her panda slippers. It's a very small moment in the film. There's this creepy, witchy goblin who's like trying to trick her by like giving all the things that she loved as a kid. Alright, let's go. And one of those things is your panda slippers. Just made me think of that oddly specific reference. I'm wearing nothing on my feet. I love the touch of cold floor on my feet. I do too, but I'm finding that it's not good for me to indulge in that shit. The older I get, the more likely it is to make me sick. Also, it's really cold here right now. We had a couple of days where suddenly it got super cold. Had to get out the de-icer on the car this morning. Oof. Labyrinth with David Bowie. What a legend. Yeah, indeed. Why am I the last one in here? What? Are these lovely bouncy slippers I bought in South Korea? Bouncy slippers sounds fun. Lena Elvira, I'm so old. I need a pair of wool socks and my trusty Crocs. Snowy day in Scotland. Yeah, that ain't nothing to do with age though, really, is it? Like when it's properly snowy. Why do I even try to beam? Everything's dead. If you can get this one, as soon as I'm in there and I have this cube out the door, you guys can reset the first one so it's a bit quicker. You can reset it. Good tech, right? Sorry, trolling. Stop it! Aaron, the city I'm in right now is 20 to 25 degrees throughout the year. You can wear shorts and flip-flops everywhere. I mean, there are people around here who do that as well. I went to the supermarket the other day in shorts. No flip-flops, though. But you do get that a lot. I feel like, especially the further north you get in the UK and the colder it gets, the more of these men you see who are just, you know, shorts all year round type people. Boo. It's a bit of a mess. So no trifecta then. Envious. Scotland is about 10 degrees all year round, with dips of freezing or super hot occasionally. That's a bit generous, says Tornado. I haven't spent anywhere near as much time in Scotland as I should. Given that my dad is from there. I'm being super lazy and not changing my setups properly. It's just silly damage. I mean, this dungeon is getting on a bit in years, right? But it still rubs me the wrong way that no mechanics do anything anymore. Like Tevi said, if you just... Everything is just a bonk, bonk, bonk fight if you bring enough DPS. Everything's a nuke. Oh no! As soon as you ult, you know the tank's gonna move the stack. Lena, there was a guy, still a guy on our street in Aberdeen this morning. Oh, you're up in Aberdeen? I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, it's brisk up there, isn't it? Is it the Granite City? I've only been to Aberdeen once. It was pretty cool. Clearing his driving shorts, a dry robe, and wellies. That's class. I should be out, but I like my seasonality, being originally Swedish. Yeah, in the words of, what are they called? First Aid Kit? From Stockholm. You were born to endure this kind of weather. That's the line, right? Why am I bothering to loot everything? I don't know why. Came to Scotland in 1999 and stayed. I love it here. Yeah, I can see that. A couple of my mates are obsessed with going to the Cairngorms, despite it being really far away from where they live. I do not enjoy this fight anymore. Not one bit. I'm sure that is like the coolest take ever. Like nobody disagrees with that. Resume damage. Should I give Ahel shit for losing taunt on the boss there, or should I just let it go? Pretend we didn't see it. That's another problem with these immunity phases. They get so dull, and if you're tanking, like, it totally breaks the rhythm of the fight for you. Right, I'm gonna go and kill some of these. Oh, Scottish Trinity. I've left Scotland a lot, always end up back. That's interesting. And Grey Kirk, hello, hello, how you doing? Lily Dryad, finally home. Welcome back. This one welcomes you back. Pragmatic Fate Carver, man. I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I don't want them to nerf it because it's so broken. It's hilarious. Oh, there's one more. Oh no, we can ignore it. But yeah, it is a bit silly, isn't it? Let's be real. Well, welcome back, Lily Dryad. How you doing? Hope you're doing awesome. And Erin! All I hear and see and read about Scotland paints a beautiful picture. We'll visit it someday. Yeah, make sure you do. I would say, if anything, it's underrated. But I'm biased. I have to misread your name as Lily. Hydrate. Yeah, Lily. Hydrate. Stay moist, as they say. I wonder if that was considered an innuendo immediately. Like the first person who came up with that line for an Argonian character? Or did it just become one shortly after that? Or was it conceived of as slightly filthy? You often wonder with these things, like the I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee. That was not meant to be funny. Like, it was just a random line. And, obviously the other one, the Lusty Argonian Maid, they just put it into, like, fill up. They needed X number of books, so many dozens of documents that you could read to fill up the world. I guess they didn't think that many people would necessarily read it, let alone that it would become, like, this big thing, this big meme in the future.
We have no more time. Allies out there.
I'm guessing we're stacking them together somewhat. And if you're wondering, yes, Grunwolf is saying my name. He can't make his mind up between Khan and Sue. But yeah, that is what he's saying. He knows which side his bread is buttered. Lily Dried, how are you all? I'm good, thank you. I think everyone's having a pretty nice, chill Thursday. Thoughts on the game, thoughts on the event. We're into the final 48 hours of the Fortress and the Writhing Wall in general. I'll get this bubble. Or will I? Just no synergy appearing, thank you for that. I'm happy to be on Horva duty. But we can basically, with 2 Arcanists, we can just burn everything. We just need to make sure that, I'll tell you what, I will be on Sanguine Sacrifice duty. And if Tevi, if you can be on, like, Move the Cube duty. I mean, the tank can also do it, but slightly easier if a DD does it. I always try to stack these, but it's almost completely pointless. They take so long to actually cluster together in the middle. Not very convincing. Hydration is important. Absolutely it is. Thank you for that hydrate, Eggbirds. I'm going to do that right now. Lily Dried, I'm doing okay, Gus. Just tired, been out of the house since 9 this morning. Well, I'm glad you're doing alright. Glad you're back. I'll grab the Himo Healot immediately. There's hard mode. Lena, my youngest nursery, is closed due to the snow, so she's watching Khan fighting. But I got my earbuds on after the kid shouted "Maya" for a couple of days after watching the stream at the weekend. Little one says they need more magic wands to beat the bad guys. Yeah, maybe so. Where's the mega bat? We got a big boy. Oh, we're not getting a mega bat. I'm just... Oh, there it is. There it is. I was waiting to kill the blood thing with that first. Alright, I'm going to summon another. Oh man, this is just silly these days, isn't it? Boss loose. I should have done my impression of Sin. Ah! Go on, Velordi, you got this. Alright, so all we... I should have just dodged the guy. But yeah, it was actually going pretty well. We were focusing all the little ads and stuff. I had the Mega Bat situation under control. If you don't mind, I'll wait until there's a bat before popping the little, what are they called? The little munchkin blood guys. Hit the ad with the clench. Yeah, fair enough. Right, ready. Thank you, Bar Swap. Ooh, that's nice. Hey. Oh, that's not fair. The bat didn't die. The bat didn't get its shield popped. I've no idea how that's even possible. So I'm gonna have to summon another one real quick. Bonk! I probably had the debuff twice. Making it very hard to heal. Another bat? What the hell? So either we're going too fast or not quite fast enough. Because before we were skipping the battage. Can't dodge that. So just, I'm sure nobody needs a reminder, but the way that it works, whenever Tebby hits the cube, or when I hit the ball, we get that horrible, horrible healing debuff. It just needs to be out-healed. Once we get back up to 100, it'll be fine, but we take drastically less healing, and there's a damage of a time component as well. I think just the general bleed in here. So if we get that when shackles come up, it's just a lot of work for Belorda. Just at the moment when we need to split. Pain in the butt. But there we go. Loads of healing debuffs, yeah. All the debuffs. Oh, I was in that? If you say so. If you say so, Gina. Okay, we got a Mega Bat on a different person now. Sorry, I had one ghosty, didn't get popped. Jeez, that's a lot of ads. Tank's still not up. Okay, sorry, I thought the tank was up. Rip. Grundwolf is a big meanie, isn't he? We do need more magic wands, don't we, Lena? The upside of Fate Carver, people can chat on Twitch even while they're doing a trifecta. Well, we're not doing any... This ain't no trifecta. Aaron, as you may have spotted. But yeah, absolutely. It might affect my my patience with the whole Fate Carver meta. Even though I'm generally complaining about it like others are. I'm not complaining as forcefully. I find it quite entertaining to use. I do want the meta to move on a little bit further than it has. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're raid leading or streaming or something, it's actually quite nice. They can still pump out a lot of damage. He used to often push the AoE out of his ass. Like the AoE would be telegraphed in front of him. But in actuality... Oh, come on. How is the bat not getting hit by that? I'm going to have to go for it again. I'm going to need a lot of healing. I got it. Or does it just kill itself if it reaches you? Yeah, if it's on me, that sucks, because it's so much easier for someone who doesn't have the bat to pop the thing. But it should work. I'm not sure why it's not getting... There we go. Bonk. I'm not sure why it's not getting hit. Okay, that shit is fucked. You see that? I just aimed the bubble directly at those ghosts. And neither of them lost their shield. Oh, I'm in danger. Another event starting in 1 hour, 45 minutes? I'm so hyped. Not. Is that right? Is it starting in a couple of hours? I don't see anyone doing anything wrong. Sevi, Alright, I'm gonna grab this straight away. Ahelt, if you're able to keep him away from that spot, then he's less likely to put the burning AoEs where I need to pop the ball. It's not the end of the world, but if we can keep him more central. Oh, jeez. How'd he kill me with an 8k hit? Got the bat. And got the ghosts this time as well. just gonna finish off all these little shits. But Lord, I'm gonna get the bubble on the go. Oh, give me a break, dude. And then he immediately summons the ghosts. That's such unfortunate timing. At least they're stacked for my ult. No, not you. The beam just going immediately to the wrong guy. And we're done. So we made that look about 10 times harder than it should be. Yeah, I think it's just if we'd been on voice and chatting and everything, it would have been a lot easier, probably, guys. When I was here with Sin and Daniel last, we just deleted him. But we'd done it several times as a group already. I think we were just a bit too spread out, and we got some really unfortunate timing with the bats and the ads spawning in. And with so many ads coming so quickly, the tank is like, whoa, 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 whoa. How many things do I have to taunt here? Anyway, thank you for that, and congrats, Belorda. Alright, so was saying I hit the cube multiple times, so stacking the debuff. Yeah, I did that as well at one point, because I got the ball, used it, and then a bat spawned, so I had to use it again. And yeah, doubling up on that debuff, you're fucked, basically. I'm not sure that can even be out-healed. Maybe. Those are big, weird-looking big bats. Are they Australian? Yeah, they just want your fruit. That's all it is. Yeah, Paul, not Canadian. Which event is this? Is that can't be the... That's not New Life Festival starting already. Which event do we have coming up? I should know this. This is bad. But yeah, 2 fresh hard modes is pretty pog. Yeah, that's nice. So Tevi and Belorda just got the hard mode in here. Or maybe we should have gone slower. I haven't explained things, but yeah, basically just healing debuffs and ads management. Hey, Rotahead, thank you very much for the blurb. Potato, the Daedric War celebration, that's today? Damn. Thank you. I better go make a guide. Not. Alright, Tevi, thank you so much. That was awesome. Catch you later. Thank you for stopping by as well. Alright, let's catch up with chat now, because I was a little bit negligent here. Fezman, yeah, they may be onto something there. Wands as dual-wield magical weapon could actually be pretty cool. I wouldn't say no to that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It is cute, yeah, it's super cute. Bless them, likes to play catch. My youngest sees the cat in the corner, has to make it meow for her. Love it. Lena, yeah, Daedric War around 3 PM. Gotcha. Back from coffee. How's it going? Oh. Thank you for that. And J Cliffs, needed ability to make your favorite dungeon easier. Fate Carver. Want a strong option for all content? Fate Carver. Range adds in your dungeon? No problem. Fate Carver. That sounds awfully familiar. That's similar to that speech I did in... Oh, let's find it. Fuck it. It will cause problems for, like, copyright content. But, oh, man, what video was it that I did? It was one about... Was it Update 48? No. God damn it, what was it? It must be to do with... Ah, shit, I can't remember when it was. Oh, that sucks. Wasn't my Update 48 video? No, I think it was something to do with subclassing. Oh, never mind, I can't find it. I'm not going to waste your time, guys, trying to figure that one out. But yeah, welcome on in. If you just joined us, we just did a dungeon. And you guys want to do some more stuff? We can just do the other 2 pledges, to be fair. Just 3-man it. Or if anybody else wants to join. If anybody else wants a fresh new hard mode that they haven't got yet. And Ahel, thank you for taking us. And thanks to Tevi for helping us delete everything. Yeah, man. Sick damage. Loved it. I think Tevi and I were running like almost exactly the same setup as well. Which is pretty funny. I didn't even check what gear I had. What was it? Deadly and Unsoul. So yeah, probably the same gear. Can't really go wrong with that. Ah, so Bloody, yeah, you know everything, but the group I tried it with before wasn't very good. And yes, thank you, Tevi. Big thanks to Tevi, always. Give Tevi a follow, by the way, guys. She's also a streamer. Streams a lot of late game type content, you know, groups doing difficult hard modes or trying to score push. She was score pushing in Maelstrom Arena a few weeks back. That was a lot of fun to watch as well, so tell you what. Let's do that shout out properly. Hit that little heart button. Make sure you don't miss out. You'll see some familiar faces and names as well in Tevi's streams, I'm sure.
Your gear has suffered from the... Does this...
Do you guys want to do... I mean, what are these? City of Ash 1, Spindle Clutch 1. Should we just do those real quick? Is there anybody else who would like to join? We got Teleria with a 36 vitality last night, very nice. And someone didn't dodge roll a wave. I hate that person. Especially when it's me. I'm not the worst when it comes to that. I do know a couple of players who tend to be the ones that die to shit like that. And it's like, oh, why? But it sucks to be that person. It's so... It feels really bad. That the responsibility was yours for just a moment and you fumble it, or you're out of stam, or you just are overwhelmed or whatever. But also saying, gotta pick up those pledges. I had AFK, but I think he's also up for it. Let's do it then. Let's do it. Just go pick up the pledges. I'm making some very, very chill dungeon content. By the way, folks, there is a good chance that you'll be seeing more of that dungeon setup in the near future with me, Ahel Balora, and Maya. Because we're trying to set up a dungeon group right now, and then we can actually all get on voice together and talk about the mechanics and what we're doing, why we're doing it this way, making it easier for ourselves, or whatever. 3 zones for this event: Morrowind, Somerset, and Clockwork. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know why they keep bringing this one back. There's been a lot of Daedric War celebration in the last 5 years. I think this will be the 3rd time in 5 years, which seems surprising. I guess people just love Morrowind and Clockwork City. I can get down with that. Yeah, J Cliffs. Yeah, you were thinking of that YouTube video exactly, yeah. And Tebi, by the way, kind of got first week of December off. We'll probably do some daytime streams. Feel free to hit me up if you want to do some dungeons. Cool, thank you. Good to know. Anyway, heading off. Have a good stream. Thank you. We will do our best. Still counts as a trifecta if they're not rezzed. No. It doesn't affect your score. So you don't lose the score until you res the person. And that's when you see that vitality bonus decreased. So you will see videos of that. If people are going for score, often a couple of people will die if they're going for a really risky strat. A couple of people will get fucking wrecked in the last 10% and they won't get rezzed. Definitely seen that. But no, you won't get the achievement. The achievement isn't based on the resurrect, but just on the deaths themselves. Alright, well let's just queue in manuellement to these. City of Ash 1. These are going to be piss easy. Would anybody like to join? These are going to be some quick-ass pledges. Just 4 keys in the base game dungeons. If anybody wants. Going once, going twice. Gilly-chan, maybe I can finally get my Clockwork War Gear furnishing. I hope so, wouldn't that be nice? Furnishings, you say? Yes. Gilly's logging in, awesome. Oh, new num tab. Well, whichever one of you gets here first. Honestly, whichever one of you pluses me first gets it. Go, 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 go! I doubt it until I see the lead pop up. Yeah, well, I hope you get it. It's annoying to have to grind for stuff. Fate Carver. Sorry, Aaron saying, wife left? Fate Carver. Getting bald? Fate Carver. Stuck in a dead-end job? Fate Carver. Do you worry about your ability to satisfy your lover in bed? Fate Carver. Brrr. Not enough lead in the pencil? Fate Carver. Jesus, alright. Why am I like this? Nobody answer that. Do you need to kill your boss and make it look like an accident? Fake Carver. I'm just constantly glancing at my chat for those pluses. Our new nam tab. Alright, you're not actually racing. Wasn't really listening, just heard once, going twice. Well, it was just for an easy 4 keys, and we should stop here. Isn't this one of the pledge bosses? Yeah, the Infernal Guardian. So we should stop here and wait for Gilly. But jokes aside, new Namtab, you'd be very welcome. That's how it goes, guys. If ever you want to join for anything like this, you know, there are probably a few dungeons where we might be like, all right, we need someone experienced, but I think we can count on one hand the number of things that we would actually say that. Generally, it's all gravy. If you're here and you're on PCEU, you are more than welcome to join. Only a dude would scream Fate Carver during. I mean, that wasn't quite what I meant. Jesus. Amazmora! Just when I think I'm being filthy, Lily Dread takes it up a notch. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Even when you're a little bit tired, still knocking it out of the park. Are we even on veteran? It doesn't feel like it, does it? Oh, there we go. There's the plus. Alright, well, we will wait for you here, I guess. Look at that fake tanking. Oh, no, it's not a fake tank. It's an actual tank. Or at least quite a chunky DD. Nice. Well, welcome on in. Chris the Bliss, how's it going? This might seem like a silly question, but what is your account name? Usually get itchy trigger fingers after lunch, but nobody is around to do hard modes. It is at The Khan. TheKaan. Let me show you. Why am I being dumb? There we go. You can read that. Thekaan, not the Turkish spelling rather than the Indian or Pakistani spelling. Coolio. And Erin lurking for meeting time? Fair enough. Might need to use Fate Carver in a work context. Fate Carver! Lena Elvira. And Nunam said, no, someone needs that more than me. Fair enough. Thank you. And Lily Dryad, until someone tells me I've gone too far, I will take it up a notch. No, it's just too easy. It's just too easy. We'll just descend. You wanna take it up the what? Up the notch? What does that even mean? But yeah. This is a chill activity. We're allowed to be silly, aren't we? We can take a break from serious stuff. I'm just gonna start beaming him already. He's already so low. I remember when getting like 45, 50k DPS on that guy felt really, really good. Now it's like 120 easy. Easy clap. Do people have an order in which they do the bosses in this dungeon? I almost always do the Guardian first, I don't know why. Why are we not mounting as well? You can mount here. It's one of the few dungeons where that works. Sorry, Ahald, I fucked up your stack. The Atra ran away. Or floated. Floated away. See, I do not get that. I'm still going to get 40k. No overhype. Yeah, fair enough. It's to do with the people I'm with. Ahald and Belorda, like, we've got an actual tank, actual healer. Not just people with damage, but heavy armor. Or people with damage and Arresto stuff. You know, so they're responsible for as much of my damage as I am. That's how it works in group content. Rude. I'm only getting to use one of my beams. I can either use Fate Carver or I can use Radiant Glory. I don't get to do both. That's sad. I just love using Radiant Oppression or Radiant Glory. So I will always opt for that if it's close enough to like 40% thereabouts. Right, I might get to use 2 on this chick. Or maybe not. Oh, just. Like 3 ticks of Radiant Glory. Also, it depends on the dungeon, right? We're just like cruising through. It's a very easy base game dungeon. So we're just kind of going ham on everything. Once you have to do mechanics and movement and positioning and all of that stuff, yeah, then 120k is not going to happen anywhere near as automatically. I'm not going to have my ult back for the boss. That's one issue with with the fights being so quick. The ulti gen, man. I still, in my head, I have this sort of rhythm, sort of the music of the dungeon as I go through. I can ult here, I can ult there, I can do that. I should save my ult here because I want it for the last guy. He's gonna move, isn't he? Yeah. Thank goodness for Stampede. I freaking love the Templar beam. I know it's been super popular for quite a long time now. It's been sort of in and out of the meta quite a lot in the last year. I'm not even close to being bored of it. Hang on, did we not? We did read the hard mode, right? The scroll just doesn't go away. Gilly, would you mind switching to DPS? Oh, we didn't do the hard mode? Fuck. Would you mind switching to DD so that I can't use the Q? What was the other one again? Spindle Clutch 1. This would be fun. I kind of like doing the old dungeons. Don't know about you guys. If I can find them on the bloody list. It's right at the top, isn't it? I'll try Q. I don't think we can Q. No, we're roll incompatible. Gilly, if you can open up group and just switch from tank to damage. Or I guess, Ahel, you could do it. Doesn't matter. And you want burning spellweave pieces. I got the shoulders, that's it. But you can have those. Please tell me someone clipped the need to kill your boss. Fake cover. And make it look like an accident. That's the key. Better than greasing the stairs and sounding the fire alarm. No worries. And Maxaluta, hi, can someone explain how to zoom the camera like this? I use PC. So, you go into settings, camera, and third person. I would set, personally, you don't have to do any of this, but just go settings, camera, and then look here. I would put field of view all the way up to 130. Horizontal position, horizontal offset, make sure those are 0, and vertical offset either 0 or up to 100. Some people prefer it nice and high. I quite like it here. And then if I want a more intimate, like basically only for videos, never for gameplay, then I will lower field of view to nothing and, well, 70 and vertical offset. That way when you zoom in, you get a super close-up look at your character and their surroundings. Like, look, I can totally see, like, Gilly's whole deal here with this guy. He looks awesome. Whereas if I'm zoomed out, I can only really see the silhouette. But yeah, I hope that helps. Now let me put it back the way it was. Alright, let's catch up with chat while we queue. Dungeon Finder, Spindle Clutch 1, go. And Nova Hype, yeah, a 40k thing. Can you explain Fate Carver returning to the game since 2019? It's basically a long channel that deals really high damage 3 times a second in a large AoE. Like, the short version of it is that it's really fucking strong. It might be too strong, but I don't want them to just nerf it to solve that problem. It is Arcanist is the class that uses it. Although with subclassing these days, anyone can use it. But yeah, head to our YouTube and you'll find a load of stuff on this. Also on the camera issue, by the way, Maya did a new tips. Best tips for new players, rather. And yeah, that included camera settings, how to turn on, how to turn up your AoEs and stuff like that. But yeah, to get a look at what Fate Carver can do for you, in especially in solo content, I also did a video a couple of weeks back on the YouTube. It says on the thumbnail, "Tired of being squishy? Fate Carver. No, I'm kidding. It says tired of being squishy, and then it gives like 4 tips to significantly increase your tankiness without losing any damage. Really, it's a trick that not enough players are taking advantage of. And yeah, then add a couple of other things, like bonus things that you can do, and Fate Carver is absolutely one of them. Because it gives you a shield, and you can use a CP to turn it into a constant heal as well. It's kind of dirty. It's a bit chaotic on my screen, but hopefully you can see how I'm just, you know, I'm rotating around the boss to just hoover up all of the ads around her as well. Hey, Healthy Jet, oh my, OMG! Just watching your tutorial on scribing and saw you were live. Oh man, my apologies. That content is old. I think it's still up to date, but I get slightly worried and self-conscious. Because it's like over 2 years ago now, or whatever. Is it? No, it's just over a year ago. The scribing stuff. No, it is 2 years. Help me out, guys. No, it's a year and a half. God damn it. You see, I get all befuddled. And where's the boss going? If we can call her a boss. I know she's a bit too high health for me to use the execute. I yearn for the radiant glory. I like replaying old dungeons, nostalgia, but chaining ads when everything dies so fast makes proper stacking awful. That's definitely true. But then again, they have added sets that help us out. With the non-elite ads, you know, with the Void Bash and Rush of Agony and shit like that. Rush of Agony is really good. I don't have a copy on this, a set on this character. We're not going to kill Big Rabu? Used to play with a dude from Bangladesh who was convinced it said Big Rabbi. Always makes me laugh. Why would there be an ad in a dungeon called Big Rabbi? It never occurred to him to question it. I do want there to be a Lich in one of the dungeons called Lich Rambert. They've got to do that. They've got to fucking do that. I'll be so disappointed if ESO eventually goes the way of the dodo and no one has added that to the game. Yes, it's not just you, Al. It's not even worth me double flailing to get my crux all the way up. Rubbish. Alestra, I've been considering getting into ESO again. I haven't played actively in a couple of years, though. It is in a weird but fun place at the moment. We've just got subclassing. I'm sure you've heard a lot about all of this. But yeah, I think we'll see more on that in the coming months. Because they kind of released it, and it's a cool idea. The system works, it's all very good, but like it didn't feel finished in a way which is quite annoying and disappointing to a lot of players. So while it is definitely a win, it's not finished yet. So I think there's more of that coming, hopefully early next year. I'm kind of disappointed nobody's dying to these. Last time I was in here, Kamul, Egbert, and Maya all got clapped. I think Balorda clipped it, right? He said, yes, they actually did this. And I'm the only one left alive after the AoE finishes. But yeah, sorry, a bit of a fast-paced dungeon here. Like Ahel said, everything dies so quickly, we're just zooming through it. So, yeah, not a lot of time to stop and chat. Overhype. How does your team buff your DPS to 120k? What is your DPS solo? Let's go and find out. Let me go and do a world boss somewhere. I mean, for a start, I would have to slot a... Yeah, let's go and do something. What can I do? Let's just do something in here in Glenumbra, since we're here. Spindle clutch, innit? I don't know what I'd hit on a world boss. Actually, that's a very good question. Again, it depends on their mechanics and stuff, but if there's like a Wamasu world boss around here somewhere, it doesn't really do a lot. Gonna have a look at that. But yeah, it's lots of little things. Nova Hype is the short version. It's not like one... There are obviously things that make a big difference, but generally with DPS... hey. I needed this, apparently. What's that for? Fragment of the Hollow Fang. It's got to be something vampire related. Fragment of the Hollow... Fudge. I can't be bothered, I'll look it up later. But that'll be a skill style, probably. Let's go Sea View Point. And let me just grab the armory. This is what I would use for soloing. Ansul, Tideborn. And the 3 skill lines are Herald of the Tome, Assassination, Stormcalling. Just made a video on exactly this, by the way. Which we were talking about, you know, the not wanting to be squishy. Let's see, I'm actually interested. You can see me solo a bunch of things in that video. And you'll be able to see on the top of my screen, that black bar at the top. It's not easy to see when you're watching in 1080p, I realize that, but you should be able to just detect what the DPS is there. And the video on YouTube is in 4K, so you can see it much more easily. Get the right potions on. And is this the Wamasu boss? I can't remember. No, this is a bear. So make sure I got Major Resolve and Major Breach. Major Resolve won't help my DPS, but... So we're starting off at about 60k DPS, 67. It's dropped to 62 now, 64. And then it went up again in Execute, 67. 67k, so a drastic reduction. Also, the fight was a little bit longer than some of the others, but yeah. So solo, that's the kind of damage you're talking about. But obviously that boss didn't have any moves that I really needed that interrupted my damage. I just kind of stood there and pressed block right at the end. But, I don't know, man, if you brought, say, a Rune Blades setup and different sets, like, let's have a look. I was way over pen, for example. Got a question the other day from someone saying, why are you all in medium? If you're solo, don't you need the light armor to get your pen up? It's like, check your passives, check how much. And, you know, the typical gear sets that are being used, like Ansul, Tideborn. I didn't even need to bring a Major Breach to that fight, really. Do you have a Magic Nightblade PvE DPS build on your YouTube? No, not anything that's up to date. You could do this as a Nightblade. Magicka would be difficult because of the flail. The flail costs stamina, and you need to use it a lot, so that would be pretty rough. But if it's like a Khajiit or a Dunmer, you could switch it to stamina. That would make it easier. What are the other options? You could go with... I would probably go with... Ooh... Stormcalling, Assassination, and maybe... Templar. Go with Adric Spear instead. It doesn't give you quite the same survivability as Fate Carver, but if you use the Magicka jabs, you know, Puncturing Sweep, that heals you with every tick. So and you can add other heals on top of it. You can use Reaving Blows, which I just had slotted. You can use from Storm Calling. You've got Crit Surge. So you can give yourself an absolute crap ton of passive healing. So even though you're missing the shield from Fate Carver, doesn't matter. You're healing yourself like a bandit anyway. So very few things in Overworld are even going to deal enough damage to cross that line of being a threat to you. That is going to change. You know, next year we got more difficult Overworld coming, and you can opt in or not. To that, I'll definitely be opting in and seeing how many of the world bosses are still easy to solo. I'm hoping they will be at least challenging now to solo. I think that would be awesome. Suzuki Boston. There's a boss in Dragonstar Arena called Anal. Yeah, Anal Tuwaka, right? Why did they do that? I completely agree. But yeah, I hope, Alestro, that everything we're showcasing here is encouraging you. We'd love to see you back. But I'm hoping next year will be a more satisfying run for ESO. Because 2025 has been pretty good. But there have been some slightly disappointing things that didn't go down well with the players, or subclassing wasn't quite finished. The new trial wasn't a slam dunk. It's still really good, but like the last few years, the Lucent Citadel was so amazing. That was last year's trial, and a few years before that we had Dreadcell Reef, probably the player's favorite trial ever. It's definitely an upward trend, but yeah. It wasn't a slam dunk, 2025, I think it's fair to say. In the same way that falling off that cliff wasn't exactly a slam dunk. It was not intended. I'm not even sure how I survived. And Lex Play Catch, I did Vaults of Madness on my Arcanist, level 39 last night. I forgot about the story in there. Loved it. Has not been in that dungeon for years. That is a good one. And then that I can't do it, but that wonderful voiceover at the end. The Breton guy, I'll think of something. I always do. And he's like, incredibly. He just goes all like Walter White at the end with his delivery. It's very, very sinister. And I've always, every time we play that, the original idea was to have, in the same way they've got Spindle Clutch 1 and 2, is that they would serialize, well not serialize, but have a sequel in every single dungeon. Because originally number 1 was normal and number 2 was vet. They then changed it. I'm simplifying a little bit here, but I always thought that like really suspenseful delivery right at the end of the dungeon. I always do. It just makes you think, oh, I want to see what's in Vaults of Madness 2. I wonder if they'll ever revisit that idea. Personally, I would fucking love that. Imagine if we got Fungal Grotto 3, but it is absolutely bastard hard. Like, it's the hardest dungeon in the game. I would hug Mike Finnegan at the next, convention or whatever I saw him if the team actually did that. Wouldn't you guys love that? That'd be the greatest. Oh, you doing Fungal Grotto? Which one? It's like, whoa! It's like way harder than the newest trifectas to get or whatever. I think that would be fan-freaking-tastic. Lily Drad, would be nice if you could activate all your synergies while doing solo content. Yeah, that would. But such is the way of things. I mean, the synergy is there to incentivize group play, isn't it? That's the whole reason for the thing. I have no memory of this. Fezman, hey! Already did a nod to Rich with the Lambent passage in IC. But Rambert could totally work. Sounds like a Breton name with a silent T. Rambert, yeah. He is back from the Vietnam War. Rejected by society. His name, Jean Rambert. Excuse the terrible accent there. Thanks for the runs, people, and for reminding me how we do the MGFHM. Yeah, man, no worries. triple kill. It wasn't it? This is why ESO hardcore is not a mass movement. Yes! I've seen people doing it though, that's big fun. ESO hardcore. Nova Hype, do you have a Magic Night Blade? Sorry, we covered that. And Zulu! How's it going? And Wolf's White Rose. I messed it up. I didn't say it white. How you doing? Bosses at 18k? Overworld bosses should be 9.1. Pretty sure. Maybe you're right though. If it's saying max rather than effective. Maybe I've got that wrong. The bosses are full 18k. Well, in that case, I'm doing pretty well. So that's nearly 17k there. It's close enough. Gilly and Balorda chatting about sets to run and whatnot on healers and DDs. Nova Hype. Yeah, I'm better at understanding by asking. Why apologize? Do not apologize. I care from Olympia. Thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it. So basically copy and paste this build that you're on, but don't run Arcanist. I'll give it a go. What's the class recommendation? It could be anything at all. I mean, if you're going to do Storm Calling, Assassination, and Adric Spear, then I guess it needs to be a Templar, a Sork, or a Nightblade. But you can make anything work, really. You can. It's only Fate Carver confers some interesting advantages. Too many, if you ask me. I don't mind it being... I don't mind the shield. I don't mind the cleave. I don't mind the sustain. I don't mind the tick rate and its synergy with reaving blows and the amount of damage that it deals. I think that's all fine, but all of them together, I don't think we can justify that unless every skill line has something similar. Oh, I just got a message from Maya. She says hello, everyone, and we've got to get ready to wrap up the stream fairly soon. Just going to reload here, turn graphics all the way back up. FG3 would be ironic as the hardest ever. I would love it. And if it just remained the hardest dungeon for a long time. Slam dunk for the Whisperer. Yeah, exactly. Pelota, yeah. And Erin, Dread Cell Reef was great mech heavy first and second fight. And you can ignore Portal mechanics with enough DPS on final boss. At least on regular vet, which is fun to do. It was extremely easy. Originally, because there was a bug where you wouldn't actually get wiped half the time. So the threshold for beating that you know, making that nuke was really low. But yeah, even when it came out, they fixed it, and then suddenly most groups could not make the skip anymore. But we still could. Ninja Pulls could still do it. Oh yeah, baby. And obviously with the power creep that we've had over the last couple of years, it's become very, very easy to do again. You can also do it in hard mode. People often will do just one bridge. And I bet after subclassing, the vast majority of hard mode groups would do none. I've actually been in there on a prog since subclassing went live. But Lord, I want a second Arx Corinium because there's that door behind the boss. You read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, we have to use the lever. I want to know what's behind the door. They talk about some sort of a powerful nature spirit. Some sort of force of nature. If you do a lore run in that dungeon, they sow the seeds of whatever's going on in part 2. They hint at it, but yeah, nothing. And all the sets were too good to miss out. That's also true. I think it helps when there's a couple of sets in a trial that people are thirsty for. I think it really does help. And Shamuro, yo! Hi, how's it going? Love the Rambert voice. You need to play him if Rich doesn't. Rambert. Ooh la la. I'm conscious we have French people around here. Or Canadians. Don't want to just, like, casually insult everyone associated. You know, by doing it. A sort of a Team America level French impression. Although that sounds like I'm dunking on Team America. I wasn't. I love it. And they take the piss out of America more than anyone else, don't they? But yeah, fun stuff. And Belorda, hello to Maya. Indeed, let me say that to her right now.
Oh, there you are. I have been
Lich Ramba, a little death would be appreciated. Oh my god, they should do that. They should give him that line. Oh man. I want to write this. I'm going to write a spec script for a delve or a dungeon or something. And they can, I don't know, like, Zelvrak, the Unbreathing, you know, the end boss in, what's it called? Graven Deep. He has some quite sarcastic, threatening things that he says to you. You know, if you've got a Templar in here and he's cursing the Templar, no light will reach you down here. You know, that kind of thing. Despite the fact that it is actually quite light down there. And he will sort of shit-talk whatever class you're on. I can easily imagine a Lich copying that kind of attitude. A little death would be appreciated while they're doing a mechanic. Eggbirds. Genius. Look at that. We've got to make it happen, guys. Petition. The delve should have exploding chests as well. Just in honor of Rich Lambert. Has he got like a significant birthday coming up or whatever? Let's find out. I love it, guys. Fiery Dog in a bad French accent. I don't want to talk to you no more, you empty-headed almond food trough wiper. I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. Classic Python line, yeah indeed. What are you then? I'm French. Why do you think I have this outrageous accent, you silly king? What are you doing in England? Mind your own business. I can't even get through it. So fucking good. Alright, enough about that. This is not Khan impression cast. But luckily, I am almost done with the stream for the day, so I can mess up my throat with that silly voice. Alright, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And for hanging out with Ninja Pools every week. We love all the support, all the subs, all the chatter, the follows. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cannot say it enough times. We've got a stream coming up with Maya on the morrow. We will both be here. So make sure you don't miss that. And if you've got any subs lying around, save them for tomorrow. Put a smile on Maya's face, why don't you? And yeah, so we're going to try and make it more of a blowout stream tomorrow. Like more of a special hang. Today it was very chill, very fun. But, you know, ultimately, no giveaways or anything dramatic happening. So yeah, watch this space. More on this tomorrow. Classic Python line sidetracked, yeah. I got Vic, thanks for the stream. Was fun. Thank you so much. And BME. Hey, can you help me out here? BMR SNR fan. That should be obvious, right? But why am I... We may even have had this conversation already. But perhaps you can just fill me in. And maybe I'll remember if I'm not too dopey next time we hang. On second thought, let us not go to Camelot. This is a silly place. Yeah, right, yeah. Fine, thank you for the stream, but I don't finally get to the Moongrave Fane. Hard mode done. Yeah! If there are any more like that, hit me up. I could have done like a whole mechanics expo thing, but we didn't fucking need it. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, let us see who we're going to be spending our afternoon with from here on in. I wish I could stay, guys. I got a ton. A pile of work to do. Cracklawn is my favourite place. Hey. Lena Elvira, thank you. See you tomorrow for more shenanigans. Yes. Likes to play catch. Catch you later, Khan. Always a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Love you guys. So it's a really great part of my day just doing this. And if we can talk about the game, help people learn something or do something a little bit more easily, and get inspired to make better YouTube content and guides and all of that stuff, so much the better. But let's have a quick look. Who is in the Elder Scrolls Online right now? We got Tatanko. Alright, look no further. I freaking love Tatanko. There are loads of great streamers in this category. I just love his deal. He's super chill. He's so nice. He's open to like every perspective. Endgame, casual, noob, PvP, whatever. You throw at him, the guy is just... He's the greatest. So we're going to raid Tatanko and do me the usual 3 favors. Please stay with the raid. Stay for 5 minutes. Make a lot of noise when we enter his chat. Please, please, please. And finally, of course, give the guy a follow if you're not already following him. One of my favorite chill hangs in ESO. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much. Please be back tomorrow. We'll be on at 11ish, same as usual. And hopefully, we'll see you then.